My man.
Yeah.
My man. Through thick and thin right there.
Holy shit. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing this podcast. This is actually happening.
Yep.
And you know what, man? Like,
And I'm honored to be the first one.
I'm actually so glad that you're actually going to be the first one. Like, you are the first person that's come on here, bro.
Yeah.
I really am.
honored.
To give all of you guys a little bit of a background analysis, this is my friend Enzo Lainez Lozada. And
Well said, by the way. It's a hard last name.
It's a hard last name to say, yeah. It's got the hyphen and stuff. But he came into my life when you were, as we said, 16, 17, when I was at the end of high school, actually, towards the end of high school.
Yes.
And I remember myself too, like I was going through a bit of a rocky stage in high school where I was trying to understand exactly where I actually fit. And that's why it was, I think for myself at that point in my life, it was important when I came across our mutual friend, one of my close neighbors that lives here, Anthony Vitaliani.
Yes.
And we went to he asked me to come to the Chilean festival. That's right, Chilean festival at Fairfield Showground. And I went there. I met you, and we met all those other people. But I remember, yeah, Anthony was telling me that you were a very close friend of his back then. And then Anthony was like, bro, he's going to have an 18th birthday, man. You have to come, bro. You have to come, man. And I was like, and then I met you and you're like, you're really chill about it and whatever.
I properly invited you, man.
And you properly invited me.
I probably invited you, man. Like, yeah. You're a brother already. But no, you had something on.
I couldn't come.
It was perfectly understandable. But you freaking missed out, man. You missed out. That was freaking good, mate.
It was a fantastic night because, like, I don't exactly know what it was, but I know for sure it was definitely a family event. Some sort of family, yeah, it was some sort of family related event. And I was like, I really want to go to Enzo's birthday because I want to get to know himself, his friends. I missed out on a messy night, let's be real.
No, look, we've had a lot of those in the future anyway, so it's not like it was complete FOMO for you.
Nah, I got invited to a lot more, but you know what? I've had a track record where I feel like I feel like I've only come to about half of the ones that I've been invited to because the other half is always me having family events at the same time as when yeah, it's funny the way, but you know, that's how it goes on.
I see, it's love you.
But that's a brief introduction about how we know each other. Another thing that I wanted to show you, actually, I've got this little thing here.
Oh, here we go.
This here, this is called Yerba Mate. It's a drink that's come from South America, and you're South American, you're of Peruvian descent.
Yes.
I don't believe that they drink this over there at all.
Not really. We don't. I'm sure there's some maybe particular communities that would have this, but haven't seen any of my family drink it. Haven't seen any of my family friends who are Peruvian drink it. I've had family friends who are Argentinian and a couple of Uruguayans who do drink that, but that's because that's the origin.
That's the origin, and that's right. The actual origin really is actually from a tribal group of people called the Guarani people.
Oh, yeah.
And Guarani is an area that sort of borders between the bottom states of Brazil. So Brazil, the states in Brazil, I think they're called Rio Grande do Sul and Paraná, and then it goes into Paraguay. So it's basically a tribe that was combined with what is now today Paraguay and Brazil, and they're the ones that had access to this beautiful plant, not like marijuana, but this beautiful plant.
Each to their own on that one. Each to their own on that one.
This drink though, it is packed full of a lot of really good nutrients, minerals. It's got caffeine in it, just like how it was coffee. In fact, you would probably assume that it's similar to the way that coffee hits you, except the major difference that I've noticed with it, because I've been having it since August. It's August now, and I haven't had coffee since then. Still haven't. I used to drink coffee. I used to have like 3 to 4 coffees every day. It was all over. I loved it. Traditional Italian.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Of course.
Yeah, had to have it.
You have to have it.
I had to have it. It's like if I don't have it, I'm
You've
not
got the
Italian.
espresso machine inside
Yeah,
and everything. Like,
yeah.
of
Got
course,
the
you got to have
espresso
it.
machine, you know.
I got one at home now. I love it.
Yeah.
But you might convert me if this stuff is good.
Which one? Which machine you got?
Yeah. So my mother-in-law, she got me a Nespresso. Yeah, it's an espresso machine. So
Mm.
it's literally like yours. It just, you put the pods in, you put your espresso cup or even a mug, just
Oh,
put the
an
pod in, let
espresso
it rip.
express. Oh, they're
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah, but it's good. It's good. You
Yeah,
just let it
yeah.
rip. It's also got a milk frother, so if you decide to have like a nice frothy,
Hmm.
high quality feeling type of coffee, yeah, there you go.
Cappuccino.
You make your espresso. You make a cappuccino. Exactly.
Hmm.
It's so good.
Is that your preferred option, cappuccino? Or
Now it
you?
is. Ever since we got the milk frother, it is.
Yeah, it is.
I usually just go for. I'll just have like straight espresso or just like a long black. But now I kind of just want to enjoy my coffee a little bit more.
Mhm.
I'll usually just drink coffee just for the caffeine hit, just be a little
So a
bit,
shot, yeah.
just get into my day.
Hmm.
Now I'm just gonna have strong coffees that I
Hmm.
can enjoy, and I can have that with this coffee machine. So it's mad.
Yeah.
However,
However,
I am turning to George Clooney now,
because of Nespresso, yeah.
slowly, due to my current situation with the baby and everything. Taking my time. I'm getting grey hairs in my beard. So look, maybe in 10 years' time, I'm George Clooney.
Yeah, that's a wonderful situation that we are.
We'll
George,
touch on in a bit.
yeah, we'll touch on the baby situation soon. Um, yeah, but look, yerba mate, it works in a very similar way to how you think coffee would, except coffee, and from what I remember too, if you were to have it as a shot, uh, I'd usually have 2 shots in the past. Then I got to a point where I needed 3 to actually get that full proper like buzz, you know what I mean? And
You grow a
yeah,
tolerance to it,
I got a tolerance.
huge
That's correct.
tolerance.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And once I was hitting the 3 shotters, that's when I got that hit. And the hit that I noticed that I would get, it would hit you so quickly out of nowhere. And then after 30 minutes, cool.
If anything, you're worse off than before you even had it. Because the crash, you pretty much go under that level
Dude,
that before you take your coffees. I mean, it really depends on how much coffee you do have, the
yeah,
caffeine. Like with pre-workout, I'm a big caffeine nut myself, and I love pre-workout. But when that pre-workout crashes, especially after a big hard workout, man, you are under that level before you even had the pre-workout, way under.
dude, the pre-workout is actually identical to the coffee crash, except I think it's a harder crash because there's more stuff that's actually embedded inside of it.
But also do bear in mind that you did just work out as well, pretty damn hard,
You did
lifting heavy
work out.
weights. Yeah,
There's
so
that too.
you will be like freaking
I mean,
pancake, mate.
I mean, I'm pretty tired after workout, but I, because I usually tend to have a shower immediately after my workouts now. So I actually bring all my clothes to change, shampoo and all that to the gym,
Mm.
and I have a shower. And I usually tend to have a cold shower. I have a really quick cold shower, really cold. Um, and I found that the way that my body feels after is just way better. Like I feel so much cleaner. I feel like when you're doing a hot shower, which I was doing before, and I was doing it, there are more benefits to gain size from what I've been told, because you're apparently you have inflammation after you've done all of your workout and stuff, all of your muscles and everything inflamed. In order to retain it and to get the muscle to grow, they say you got to have a hot shower after. That's true. But I wanted to suss the difference, and after having cold showers, my whole body felt more clarity and my mind coming out of it.
Mm.
Because also too, like when you're working out, you're releasing all those endorphins, you're feeling all that. And I'm just thinking like after getting out of the cold shower,
So what are your fitness
I'm
goals? So
so
in the gym, are you aiming for performance or muscle hypertrophy? Like which one's a priority? It's one or the other.
muscle.
Muscle for sure. Okay. So what will be more beneficial are the hot showers, of course.
Yeah,
But look, for
that's
your
what I
health
was told.
altogether, the cold
Yeah.
showers are probably better altogether. But the hot showers are what help with the hypertrophy. There's more blood flow going into your muscles after, intense workout.
Hmm.
And yeah, the hot shower really just promotes that, just brings all the blood into it. Like let's just say it's biceps, all the blood goes into there.
Yeah.
Right. With cold showers, of course, it does the opposite for your whole body. And it keeps your body in a more relaxed state. So that's why you come in a cold shower. Well, yeah, you are a little bit perked up, but your body's relaxed as a result of it as well.
It's relaxed, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like your muscles are a lot more relaxed. So for athletes, they recommend those ice baths as well.
Yeah.
That's why they're always taking ice baths. They get cramps, muscle soreness of all kinds. They got to take an ice bath to ensure they're actually able to train the next day or the day after a rest day, or even compete. So yeah, there's differences.
Yeah, there's differences. Yeah, but I wanted to suss the both now. I done cold showers. Like I couldn't necessarily notice that my muscles were growing or not growing. I couldn't tell. I think now, even from what you've said, and you're not the first person to tell me, it's why I mentioned it before. I might, because I want muscle growth, I probably need to go back to the warmer, hotter showers.
But you do saunas though as well.
I also do sauna, and
That's good.
I actually did that. I actually did that this morning before I got here. Actually, or
Saunas are
before
good.
we got here, I did it. It was fantastic.
Let's try this
Um,
mate, man.
yeah, let's try this mate.
So will I be
This,
able to know how to play soccer again, be able to dribble like Messi after drinking this? There's a possibility because of the effects it gives, eh?
well, here's the thing. I don't think it's life changing in that way.
Damn.
I don't think it's life changing to that extent. But yeah, another quick thing I just want to mention in regards to the caffeine and that. There are two other things that are inside of this. One of them is theophylline, and the other one's called theobromine.
All
I
right.
forgot
Whatever.
I forgot exactly what it was that what come from what. I know that one of them is actually in dark chocolate, and that's like another little stimulation.
Antioxidant.
Must be.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah. Because I heard
But
eating dark chocolate on an empty stomach is actually really good for you.
yeah.
But yeah, go on.
And then the other one is actually something that relaxes your body.
Yes.
So what's interesting about this is that you not only get you're progressively getting charged up. So you have it and you feel like a quick charge, but then if you have like 3 or 4 refills within your first 2 minutes, then you're gonna get a charge.
Keen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But usually it tends to last for about maybe 20 to 30. I think this one will be about 20 to 25 refills. So obviously refilling the thermos here and there. But that is the reason why when I've noticed when I've had it, right, you
It's called the gourd, eh?
yeah, the gourd, yeah.
It's really,
That's a gourd. That's an Argentinian traditional gourd.
really nice. So let's pretty much go in.
You
Don't
just
touch the straw.
so yeah, don't touch a straw, just
Yeah.
drink it as it is, yeah. The straw is actually called a bombilla.
Tastes like a tea.
It tastes like a tea, yep.
But you said this was a Uruguayan one?
This specific type of yerba mate is actually a Uruguayan one.
It's actually not bad. I don't mind the taste at all.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's good.
Tastes very healthy. Like very, very healthy. Like it's kind of like a green tea in a way, but yeah, it's like there's a leafiness, you know?
There's yeah. Because the tea's pretty much out. It's all out in front of you. It's not like when you're having like a green tea, it's got the tea
That's
bag.
cracker.
Yeah.
That's cracker. Like I can imagine, yeah, the Argentinian one being more bitter, but you mentioned that it would have been a bitter taste. It's not that bad.
Well,
It's like a green tea.
well, look, the thing is with it is that the Uruguayans they do make it bitter to some extent.
Mhm.
This one here doesn't taste that bitter because this one here, it's a brand called El Moncayo.
Mhm.
This specific one they have is a compuesta, which I think is where they combine other herbs into it. One of them is mint. So
Yes.
that's why you feel that minty taste. So that sort of eliminates that whole, here, I'll give you another one.
Oh yes,
It eliminates that whole,
that's cracker. Thank you for
that
introducing me to
bitter.
this.
It's okay, man. Bro. Majority of people don't even know what this is, man. Like I went out one day, right? I went out to go see my family in Newcastle, and all my other family came, my Italian side. Went to a cafe there the next day because we saw a Beatles performance.
The Beatles performance.
Yeah. So it was these people, right? What they did,
Obviously not them, right?
obviously not them.
Damn.
Obviously not them. I wish it was them. Well, the tickets would have been
Were
fine.
they like impersonating everything, getting like the bob cuts or whatever haircuts they had?
No. So
Really?
they sung the songs, didn't exactly impersonate the characters, but they sung their songs. And you know, it was actually an insanely beautiful performance. It was actually amazing. Very beautiful performance. So we all went to Newcastle. I remember on the Friday night for that. And the next day, we went to a cafe, and I brought this stuff with me. I went there. I went inside, and I realized I didn't have any hot water. and I needed hot water because you actually brew this with hot water. They gave me the hot water, pulled it out, bro, started giving it, and all my cousins like, what the hell is that? And after we finished, I actually went out and we were like walking around the docks, the marina and stuff, and we're gonna get another beer, all my uncles and stuff on the marina, and I was just carrying this, just refilling it, walking around all of Newcastle, man, like this. And then I went, you know what? I'm gonna go for a walk on my own.
I reckon people think it's like some sort of weird
Dude, everyone
bohemian bong or something.
every person looked at it and they were looking at it like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, what is that? And that's what a lot of people say that have never seen it or they've never come across it before. They all say, what is that? Like the best reaction I got was actually from two older guys that are actually on the board at my company that I work for.
Yeah.
And they walked past me and they saw it. They're both English. I think they're both English from England.
Man, why are they always English?
They've never seen it. No, I know.
They're the guys on the Australian board of where I work. They're English.
English.
Bloody hell, man.
And then
in the morning.
they saw it. They saw it, and they were just like, "What is that?"
Crazy, isn't it?
To explain to them, and I was like, "Oh, they're probably gonna think it's something else." And just to mess with them, I was just like, "Oh, it's from South America." Oh, from South America. I go, "Yeah, this is a bit of a watered down version, but there's also a powdered version of it." And they're like, you don't say, is it white? I go, no, it's white.
Oh, here we go.
It's not white.
Of course, automatically assume it's the white stuff. Yeah. Well, anyways.
I didn't care. I was messing with them. I showed them something.
Just make fun of their teeth next time.
No,
I'm kidding.
No, but I showed it to them, and I think for them it was something very profound. Yeah, but it is something profound. The way that it looks, the fact that it's got that massive straw sticking out of it too, which is the bombilla, which has got a filter right at the bottom.
I was just about to ask, yeah.
So it's got a filter. It's got like a circular, not all of them, but this one has like a circular filter.
Yeah.
And just these little holes. And that's what filters out like all of this other stuff, including the dust.
Of course.
Because they come with a lot of dust. These yerba mates that are actually inside of the bag. So yeah, I've been drinking this quite a while. Oh, and what I was saying before about the caffeine and those two other things, the theobromine and theophylline, I believe, and also what other people believe too that have sussed this out, is that the reason why when you have coffee, you just go up and then down. It's like that, up and down, pretty much. This is different. This, because you're slowly and progressively drinking it, and you're getting little sips of it, whatever, getting little hits of it, you're actually just doing this. It's like a rainbow. And then as it starts to slow down, you become relaxed. So you just go, wee. It's like a soft landing on an airplane, which rarely happens, but it's like that. So you don't actually get a crash.
So what if you do drink caffeine in the same way? But look, I understand that there's different components and ingredients in the yerba mate that will kind of keep you relaxed. But there's certain caffeinated products. One of the big ones is obviously Red Bull.
Yep.
They come with an ingredient called taurine.
Taurine, yep.
So before anyone will discredit and say, yeah, taurine is bull's piss, it isn't. It's not bull's piss. If it was bull's piss, there wouldn't be Red Bull in the market right now.
I mean, I'm not even...
But taurine.
I personally am not familiar with what it is.
It is a depressant type of... I wouldn't call it a drug or whatever, but it will relax you, essentially.
Oh, that's
so it is aimed to counteract the anxiousness that you'll feel from caffeine. So from drinking Red Bull or even yerba mate, similar. I don't think this has taurine, but
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll feel a lot more relaxed, even though you're just being pumped up. So it's actually made to help you. And wow, you know what? I'm actually starting to feel it.
You really?
Yeah, I'm actually starting to feel it. That's pretty nice.
You actually get it.
Yeah, there's definitely that rise. It's it creeps.
That's what I mean. It creeps. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's what I love. That's what I love of it, man. It's not. There's sometimes it depends on the specific type of yerba. Like this one here, I think it's like a moderate hit, but you're also going to feel relaxed from it.
It's so nice, man. It's just a beautiful Cup
I love it.
straw combo.
A lot of
Yeah,
people
love it.
commented on the cup, and I think the cup is. I feel like the cup is more what people look at than the actual yerba and the first thing they see is the cup.
Mm.
But then after they see the cup, they see the straw or the bombilla. And when they see the bombilla, that's when they're like, "You sure this isn't marijuana?" And a lot of people that actually haven't had marijuana or consume marijuana from a bong would probably easily assume that that's actually marijuana.
They'll think it's
And
bong.
I've seen those people and I've met those people and I've even taken this. Today's Saturday. I usually go to the gym in the morning on Saturday. But I've taken this on Saturday morning sessions into the gym and I'm drinking it whilst I'm doing my workout. And I've
Yeah.
actually had people approach me and ask me like, "What are you like hitting a bong or whatever, bro?" Or whatever. You're like, "That's fun." Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oops.
it's the complete opposite. And that's what that's what I love about it. So I'm glad that you had your opportunity to suss it out.
That's pretty
But
great.
there's more. We're going to be having more of this. We're going to continue doing this during this entire podcast episode.
That makes me very happy.
Yeah. There was another thing as well with you that I remember during the time that I've known you is that you're an avid fan, massive fan of tennis.
Yeah.
When did you first get into tennis? Like, what was it that brought you towards it, and you just went, "I'm in love with this thing."
Oh man, okay. In terms of the falling in love and just being completely committed to like probably following tennis and just watching so many ATP tournaments throughout the year, that would be in the last 5 years. And obviously I've known you for much longer, but I've always had this kind of interest, right? Like I would be watching the Australian Open every year. That's a given. I mean, we're
Mhm.
Aussies. We're
Yeah,
big on the Australian
common.
Open. We're
Mhm.
always finding out, oh, who's going to win? Is it going to be Djokovic again? You know, he's always winning it. He's a gun, that guy, of course. Um, So I think my first profound experience with tennis, which kind of got tennis in my radar, was the 2012 um, Australian Open final. Right? It was Nadal versus Djokovic.
2012.
Yeah. Now the reason why is because I didn't even watch. It was the 6 hour match.
Dude, yeah, 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 yeah,
The
yeah,
thing
yeah,
is, we didn't intend to watch it. Okay, so I had mates over. I actually had Anthony Vitag, um, few of the girls as well over. It was actually at my place in Hinchinbrook,
yeah. Mhm.
and we had the Australian Open just on the TV, right? It was just in the background. We're just having our drinks, and dude, we went out and came back, and it was still going, and we watched it for another hour. But they were going hard out, these two,
Yeah.
Nadal and Djokovic. And okay, before the match, I saw that Djokovic was number one. And look, I was a tennis noob at the time, and I was only thinking, okay, the two best players are Nadal and Federer, clearly, right? Federer is the goat of tennis at the time. Um, and I was surprised to see Djokovic being number one. I was like, whoa, when did he become number one? When did he become a thing? But I wasn't really following it, right? So I was
Mhm.
quite naive. Then upon watching it, I saw his game, and he was completely just controlling the points as he does so nowadays as well. So
Djokovic, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So he won it ultimately. Big match. He rips his shirt, does a massive
Yeah.
celebration, freaking punches the A
Well,
and Z sign. I remember that. It was like bum bum bum. That was insane. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch the Australian Open every year. This is hectic.
yeah.
Um,
I think
and then it was like,
that's
oh,
like
sorry.
one of the best. So yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, and oh no, actually, you continue because we'll talk about 2012. But yeah,
No, no, you continue about 2012.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so last 5 years, maybe 6 years. What is it now? 2020. Yeah, last 6 years. So 2018, I started watching tennis a lot more, where I would actually not just watch Australian Open, but I'll start watching the other Grand Slams just whenever it was available on TV. So I'll just download the Channel 9 app or was a Channel 7 one or the other. They kind of like switch between them. Um, I'll start watching the French Open, Wimbledon, and then the US Open, just the Grand Slams.
Mhm.
And from then on out, I started watching all the ATP tournaments, like most of them at least. I've got the tennis TV app, which you got to do like a
I've
yearly
heard about it.
subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, worth it if you're a big tennis fan. I love it. I follow it. Right now, my favorite player is Carlos Alcaraz. He is a machine. If you don't know who he is, well, get out of that rock that you're living under because he was the world number one at age 19
He
last year.
was. Yeah, he was.
last year and year before. Actually, that's when
Well,
he started it.
well, you were actually the I was speaking to Anthony Vitag about that as well. You were the one that introduced us to Carlos Alcaraz. Yeah, you were the one. You introduced us to him and Yannick Sinner.
Oh, Yannick Sinner. Yeah, it was
And
Sinner before Alcaraz
Sinner,
because he's a
I
bit
think it
older.
was Sinner before Alcaraz, yeah, because
Oh, they're
Alcaraz
still
was
great.
because Sinner's about a year or two older than Alcaraz, isn't
Yeah, I think it's a bit over a year.
it? Bit over a year.
Maybe just 2 years. Yeah.
But I remember, yeah, like sussing because you told me you're like, man, you gotta watch this guy. He's just a freak of nature.
Yeah.
You know, you were talking about him because at that point, still when he just started and when you were talking to me about that, I think Federer was still playing. I think he was.
Are we talking about Alcaraz or Sinner?
No, Alcaraz.
Alcaraz. Yeah.
When you
So
told me Alcaraz when he started, because he was 17 when you told me about him.
yeah. So he was coming up on the ATP tour, going up the ranks at age 17. Like he'll have the off matches with Nadal. I think he versed Nadal 3 times before he ultimately beat him for the first time.
Hmm.
But I mean, look, he was like a literal baby. Like he was
Yeah, he
17
was.
years old. He
And
just
his
turned
arms weren't
18.
as big as what they are today.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Yeah,
a monster right
yeah,
now,
he's a
bro.
monster.
He's probably the most athletic, probably the fittest person on tour aside from Djokovic, maybe.
Yeah.
Because Djokovic obviously has like the best team in the world.
He's yeah, no,
Yeah, obviously.
he's a very gifted tennis player. He's very good at what he does,
Yeah.
but he also he does have an amazing team around him as well.
Alcaraz,
He
man,
really
he
does. Yeah.
has a very mature mentality
Yeah.
and he will play points to the end.
Yeah.
He, he's just 20.
Mhm.
Far out. He's only just started.
He's 20 at the
If he
moment.
keeps up, like he knows from watching Djokovic from the day he was born almost, right? Like just from watching Djokovic to his long career and still going at number one in the world now, that longevity is key. And that's something that he and his team needs to work on for his longevity as well. To probably, to probably become one of the greatest of all time, if not maybe the greatest, because he can be. His game, like, it's often compared to Big Three.
It is.
He's got the forehand of Federer. He's got the hustle of Nadal and Djokovic's flexibility and court coverage.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, he really does.
You pointed out a trait of Djokovic that I have seen, but I didn't actually think about it until you mentioned it just then, and that was his flexibility.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of when you look at the classic Djokovic shots, especially ones where he's trying to recover,
Oh yeah.
a lot of them that you see is him in positions where his legs are just like he's like almost doing the splits
Yep.
when he's hitting them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing how he's able to do that, eh?
I kind of wonder if he was prescribed a certain type of shoe to be able to do that on hard courts because hard courts it's kind of concrete, right?
Yeah.
And you can't really slide on it because your shoe they'll just like kind of stop,
See you
right? They'll
later,
just
yeah.
break. I'm sure he has a certain type of shoe that while it'll have like a decent amount of grip because you don't want to slip on the court, right? Um, it'll help him to slide where he needs to, and that's what helps him be so defensive in his game. And nothing can get through him almost. He's like a wall, a great wall Djokovic.
He's
Yeah, bro. He may as well be Chinese.
he may as well be
He
Chinese.
speaks some Chinese actually.
He might as well be Chinese. He might as well run the Great Wall Ute Company.
On that topic, he could be the president of Serbia any day, president or prime minister.
He probably is. Yeah, he's I've seen there's a guy at my work actually. His name's Robbie. He sends me a couple. He sent me a couple of videos here and there. Him.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, of Djokovic going back to Serbia
Yeah.
and then going out into like these villages and like singing all of these folk songs. And I see that and I'm like that's so cool to see him as a celebrity and it's also someone that's successful in what he does and come back to in some respects the people that really made him.
Yeah.
His country. Because his country
He's true to his roots.
He's very strong with his roots.
Definitely respect that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that about him. But I know what you were saying before about Alcaraz, how he resembles technique and character like the big three. He truly does. And I think for me personally, watching him in his career, the time where he really showed that was that I think it was last year's Wimbledon final where he beat him.
Yes. But there
That's
was a
when he
time when
really
he
showed.
really, really showed that beforehand. That's when
Oh, he did.
he was put. Okay, he was already on the map. He was already like a big thing, big deal. But it was the Madrid Open of 2022
The Madrid Open.
where he beat Nadal, then Djokovic back to back, and then won the Open. It's actually a Masters, so he got 1,000 points to that. So it was Nadal beats Nadal, and it's a clay court, by the way. Yeah, we know how good Nadal is on clay. He beats Nadal
Oh,
on
it is.
clay.
You're right. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He beats
Madrid.
Nadal on clay, then beats Djokovic. Like this same tournament, by the way, beats Djokovic, and then Zverev in the final, which he absolutely clapped. He had no chance, to be honest.
Zverev.
Don't count Zverev out. He can actually play really well.
He's a different type of player to play against, especially for Alcaraz, because Alcaraz is very short, stocky, powerfully built, but he's short.
He's probably taller than me, to be honest.
Okay, but in comparison to
Yeah.
like Zverev is like a, typical German, just super tall. Actually,
Yeah, they're
more
really tall.
Nordic, I would say. I would say he's more like on the Norway, Denmark height
He has a
side.
Russian background,
Is he
actually.
actually?
Yeah, you know what's funny? Everyone who follows tennis
You're
knows about the.
kidding.
Okay, do you know the Tsitsipas Medvedev feud? Right, the original feud
Oh,
when they're. Yeah, they had the small
yeah.
tournament. They were like quite young, and Medvedev wins the match. They shake hands, and Tsitsipas walks off. Medvedev goes sits down, and just under his breath, Tsitsipas goes bullshit Russian, and Medvedev was like, "Am I allowed to like say big cuss words on this podcast? Because I will. Because I bet probably should.
Whatever.
Yeah, of course. So Medvedev was like, "Man, you better shut your fuck up, okay?
Yeah, you bet.
Hey, Stefanos, you want to come here and talk? Huh?
Yeah,
Huh?
actually,
Look at me. Look at me. Medvedev, bro. He's a fighter. You can tell.
he
The Russian. But this pass is actually Russian too. Well, background wise. Yeah. Yeah.
fucking A.
The irony. The irony. I mean, he's Greek, of course, but yeah, he's got the Russian background.
Where do you gain all this information?
I just read things.
How the hell do you know?
I just read
You're
things.
you're the first person that's actually told me this stuff.
Yeah, and actually, it's the same as Zverev. So Zverev, that name itself is actually quite
The sound
Slavic?
of it is, it
Yeah,
sounds Slavic. It doesn't
yeah,
sound
German.
German,
Yeah, it
that's
doesn't
for
sound
sure.
very German.
Well, Tsitsipas though does sound,
That's Greek.
that's Greek.
Yeah,
That's like freaking gyros
yeah.
wrapped in with like lamb and like souvlaki like type Greek.
Actually, the guy he has. Okay, there's this particular gyros shop in Melbourne, and of course, Melbourne they have a pretty large Greek community
They
there.
do. I've had a couple there.
It's so good, so good.
They're
Oh man,
amazing. They're
I,
amazing.
I will kill for a gyros in Melbourne.
Mhm.
But besides the point, of course, he actually made his own gyros at that restaurant, and it's really big there. Like his own like kind of make of gyros. He calls it something. I don't think it's called the Tsitsipas gyros or whatever, but it's his.
Well, I mean, if it was the Tsitsipas gyros, it would be quite aggressive.
It'll hate
And you
Russians.
wouldn't want to mess with
It'll
it.
probably hate Russians.
Buying that one. They're going to be buying any stocks into that.
Yeah.
Russians will be putting tariffs on that one.
Yeah. But you know what? Those three, Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Zverev, they're kind of like their own three, their trio. But the thing is, Medvedev, I feel like is the guy out of the three. He's been the most consistent. He's been number one himself.
I love that final recently.
US Open.
Nadal,
Nadal Medvedev at the US Australian Open.
Australian Open.
That was 2022.
Yeah.
2022.
It was only, Jesus, 2 years ago now.
It will be just about 2 years now. Yeah.
Only 2 years ago. I can blink and remember that. Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
Well, you know, another surprise that I saw coming into the Australian Open, if we're going to talk about Australian Open as well, right? The Australian Open is now going to have Rafa Nadal come back.
Yes.
And that's a big thing for tennis fans.
Mm.
A very big thing. Because we've lost Federer. There's only two. There was three, now there's two.
We had one for last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Nadal to pull out the injury, he was recovering for almost a year.
What was his injury that he had again?
Oh, to be honest, I Haven't written that down in my mind.
It was
But
something.
it's usually his knees or his abs.
Yeah, his abs. That's
Yeah.
like it was his ab. It was an abdominal issue, and he was having issues getting. He was having issues doing a serve, and if you can't
Yeah.
serve, you can't play.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't
because
play.
you know what?
Yeah,
Your serve is what dictates the point, which is
110%.
why breaking serve is so important in tennis. When
Mm-hmm.
they say, "Oh yeah, he broke the serve finally," and the crowd goes actually really wild and puts the player ahead of the other player 4-2, in the set, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
That's a big deal because now they already have the advantage. Then they get to serve, have an advantage already.
Mhm.
It'll be 5-2, and then well, there you go.
Then you're closing up for the set
Pretty
if
much.
you break him again.
Yeah. But
That's
they
what.
didn't necessarily have to break again. It's just like if they hold serve again, which is probably easier. Holding serve is way easier than breaking serve.
Mhm.
If they just hold serve, then they win the set. So therefore, it'll just be most likely like a 6-4.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, if you hold serve, it'll be 6-4. Yeah, it usually ends up that way,
Yeah.
unless you mess
Or
up,
7-5.
or you could mess up and it's tiebreak, and then you're under pressure.
Well, that means they broke serve.
Yeah,
They had to break serve to come back.
yeah, far out. I just can't believe that Nadal's coming back, though, man.
You
I
know what?
can't
He came
believe
back.
he's
He's
coming
at the
back.
Brisbane Open, and he came back pretty damn strong. It was actually looking really good.
Yeah, yeah. I heard. Yeah, I wasn't sure the exact. So he was at Brisbane Open,
Yeah.
but yeah, I heard he'd come back and he was doing really well. It was popping up on my newsfeed,
Hmm.
which I was like, for him, that's good.
He's getting a lot of media
Love.
attention.
He's
Everyone loves him. I love him. I love Nadal, bro.
oh, yeah. When a champion from the past, you know, comes back from the dead in a way,
Yeah.
because he was not dead, but like he was, you were like you were thinking he's gonna retire. He's
He
not coming back.
he didn't want to go out of his tennis career from an injury. He wanted to go out on his own terms.
Yep.
So that's why he said this is his last year.
I love that. I actually love that he.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's
love
why he
that.
said this is his last year. Um,
I think that just goes to
like
show.
I think he can go pretty deep into the Australian Open. Probably like my prediction is quarterfinal. My prediction is quarterfinal because he's playing well. He's playing strong. He actually just lost in the Brisbane Open.
The Brisbane Open.
Yeah, actually, one of our Aussies got him,
Who got him?
Thompson. By watching the
Oh,
highlights of that
Jordan
match,
Thompson.
yeah, Thompson. So just watching the highlights of that match, Nadal wasn't playing bad. He wasn't playing his best like against the first two opponents.
Mhm.
Like the first two opponents, actually, his previous opponent, he won 6-1, 6-1, 6-2. So freaking cleaned him.
Mhm.
In this game, Will Thompson was actually on fire. Nadal maybe could have played the tiny bit better, like he did with Kubler, but Thompson actually was on fire, and rightfully so. Like he deserves it.
John Thompson is actually a fighter. A lot of those players are fighters, like him.
They just need to be more consistent, man.
John Millman. Yeah, him. John Millman. Remember John Millman? And Duckworth.
Yeah,
But I think Thompson is higher level than Duckworth, to be honest. Duckworth is very inconsistent when I've seen him play.
yeah, precisely, precisely. Demonor is
And then
clearly.
Demon was the one.
We've got like new young guns coming up. There's a guy named Hijikata.
Oh, Hijikata. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's looking solid. He's a baby still. I think he's like 20 years old.
Is he of Indian or Japanese background?
I think he's of Japanese.
Japanese, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know about Indian.
he looks Asian, but with the background, last name that sounds Japanese. I don't know his actual background. That's just a wild guess.
Yeah.
But no, he's cool. He's cool.
Mhm.
He can obviously improve. He's only 20 years old. But yeah, see.
Yeah. I was thoroughly surprised to see that Serbia lost against Australia in the United Cup.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Tomjanovic beat, I forgot who the Serbian player was for the women's, but
Tomjanovic.
yeah, Tomjanovic, she won. She's actually good. She did really well last Wimbledon.
Mm.
She got to like the quarter, I think. She was in the quarter. But yeah, Djokovic lost 6-4, 6-4, straight sets. So to
Alex Deminor.
Deminor, yeah.
Yeah. So interesting match. Djokovic was far from his best. I want to like discredit or dispute on how Alex de Minaur played, but Djokovic was very floppy and wonky.
Yeah,
He just was.
If he's gonna lose 6-4, 6-4, because Djokovic isn't the type of guy that just gives away sets.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that. I remember that time when Kyrgios played against Djokovic in the Wimbledon final, not last year, the year
I
before
think
that.
Kyrgios could have won that, actually.
I feel like he could have won that, but the thing was that Djokovic had already won the mental game. And this is the point I'm going to bring up to you about Djokovic dropping sets. Apparently, Djokovic didn't drop a set um, all tournament until he played against Kyrgios. But at the same time, I knew that even though
Oh,
he dropped,
really?
apparently,
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
apparently he didn't drop a set until that game against Kyrgios. Sorry, the match against Kyrgios. But yeah, it was the first set. Kyrgios is fired up. Djokovic, from his body language, looked like, what the hell is going on?
Hmm.
But for some reason, on the inside, I feel like he let that situation happen. Because after that, as you said
I
about
see
the
what you mean.
control,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
he took total
He
control.
did.
Total. Complete control.
And he took advantage
Yep.
of Kyrgios's mentality.
Completely.
Like,
He capitulated.
Kyrgios,
He
he
capitulated.
buckled. Like, I think Kyrgios, had he maintained that dominance in the first set, at least feel like it could have continued being a dominant force.
Mhm.
Like, of course, Djokovic is probably, he's very adaptable. He will adapt and then, flip the coin, or no, flip the card more like, and just, put it in his advantage.
Mhm.
He does it all the time, especially in Grand Slam finals. But Kyrgios, he's actually a smart guy, right? Kyrgios, I feel, is actually a very smart guy. He's got a lot of tools, weapons in his arsenal. Killer serve. He could use all that. He could just be a lot more creative. And I think Kyrgios could have actually taken that trophy. But look, it is what it is. Like, mentality is all part of the game, of course. And Djokovic is obviously probably the king of mentality, I'd say.
Yeah.
It
Him,
truly is.
Federer. I think Federer goes one level above Djokovic.
I'll have to say it's more Djokovic.
It's either okay.
It's Djokovic.
Okay. It's Djokovic and it's Federer together when it
I
comes to
love
the
talking
mental.
about this one. Comparing those two, I love talking about this one. And when it comes to mentality, oh my gosh. If Federer had a better mentality, well, I had to kind of dispute you there. If Federer had a better mentality than Djokovic, then Federer could have probably won 23 Grand Slams, I reckon.
Because he's only got 19, doesn't he?
He's got 20.
He's got 20.
He would have gone in 23, taking away from Djokovic, because those big matches against Djokovic, I think the first one in mind, US Open 2011 semi-final. Federer had 3 match points to make it into the final.
He was in the semi against him.
Yeah, it was semi against
Yeah,
Djokovic, and Djokovic, it's a very famous shot. Djokovic smacks the return. Actually, Federer's and serves. It was meant to be in an advantage, right? He smacks the return. Djokovic makes it in. Gets a point. He kept it cool, composed. Actually, the crowd was going wild because Djokovic hit that killer return, and he was like, "Oh, now you want to cheer for me?" Because they were all supporting Federer. Everyone loves Federer, man. Everyone freaking loves that guy.
Especially then.
And Djokovic is like, "Now you want to support me?" Like,
you know who does that as well? Medvedev.
Those two are very similar, Djokovic and Medvedev. I love Medvedev, man.
I think it's just that Baltic.
Probably.
Like, I don't give a fuck.
I think the most heartbreaking one for Federer fans, I'm a Federer fan myself, so it was a little bit heartbreaking. Federer, again, had 3 match points or 2 match points in the Wimbledon final against Djokovic.
When?
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple years ago.
2019. And once again, couldn't seal the deal. Djokovic won.
He absolutely, I think Djokovic's record against Federer head to head,
Positive against Federer,
I think it's positive against Federer.
And positive against Nadal as well.
Damn. So even if they hadn't had their situations happen to them, Nadal and Federer, Djokovic would, if he had the current form that he has now and all those years prior to those situations happening to those two other players, then he could have been on top. Yeah. But then I guess.
Oh, you mean Federer, right?
Yeah, Federer.
Yeah, had Federer just locked it in and just get that 1 point, then
well, that's the game. That's the sport.
That's it. Yeah, that's the sport.
I've played, like, I'm not professional. I'm still learning, but I played 1 match against you. I played against another mutual friend, Anthony Landro.
Yep.
I played against Anthony Vitaliani VTAG. Played against him all the time, but playing against him, right? He's actually trained.
Yeah,
He was trained a while ago, but he still retains all
of
that
course.
information from the past.
Similar to how I retain
Yeah,
from my childhood sport actually, which was athletics, track and field, or track more like.
that's actually true.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen you do that yet.
You actually haven't seen me on the track, have you?
I actually haven't.
By the way, guys, bear in mind, like I never played tennis growing up or during high school or anything. Like I just followed it, watched it, and now I want to play it, and I play it now and again. Like obviously now I'm a dad, gets a little bit hectic, busy, but I do want to play it, and I love playing it. I might be the biggest noob, like I played against you, and yes, I did lose against you, of
I
course.
sport, man. I'm
But
saying if it was like RuneScape terms, I'm just kidding.
oh my god, RuneScape! Ah!
I feel like I'll be
I
at
was
this.
the biggest geek on
I would be
RuneScape,
at
man.
this stage, bro, where I just got like full bronze armor. That would be the level that I'm at.
Bro, if you're bronze armor, then I'm leather armor. Fucking hell, man. I'm leather armor, bro, with a freaking bronze dagger.
The bronze dagger. I was like, bronze- just like remember watching the animation?
Yeah.
Like, like how does that like?
I
How
tried to
does
get back into RuneScape.
like?
I tried to get back into RuneScape last year. The thing is, I was maxed on RuneScape, which is a very big thing to do. RuneScape's a super, super grindy game. But I was part of a clan and we just like spoke about being maxing out all the stats and everything and just motivating each other and saying, oh, if you're not maxed, you can't even play the game properly. It's just a joke. Um, Ended up being maxed and well, I played a lot of like it's called bossing, right? So like just killing bosses, like just the big bads, the big bads.
They're
And
not, but they're not players though.
no, they're just like PVE, play versus enemy. So you just
Yeah,
have a big boss.
I remember playing against them.
Who was a big one? Who was a big one at the
What
time?
were you playing on members
Virago.
world?
Yeah, I was on members, of course.
Yeah, I never got members.
Yeah. Oh, bro, you missed out. You would love members.
I
Yeah.
I used to go to the GE,
Yeah.
the Great Exchange. I used to
Oh,
go
free to
there.
play GE is such a freaking shit show.
It's just
Yeah.
heads everywhere, man.
Yeah, it's just a shit
There's
show. It's just like,
people,
scammers.
scammers, bro. Like
Yeah. In members worlds,
bots.
G is so quiet.
Is it?
Yeah.
Bro, in the free world, there's heads everywhere,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I used to. There
It's
was
an
one
advantage.
time I was very I would say that back then I was a very gullible person.
I fell to a scam as well.
I was a very gullible person, and one time there was I went to go to the GE, was pulling out my armor from the bank or whatever, and I got my full Addy, which was the most that I had at the time,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
highest armor.
Big deal at the time, yeah.
For me, it was a big deal because everyone else, I played the game, although I didn't really understand how to play it to get things at a faster rate. Does it make sense?
Like I said, it's a very, very grindy
Yeah,
game. But
yeah.
you know what? I always got a kick from achieving those things in the game. Like that's what really satisfied me. That's why I liked it so
Well,
much. Like it was a grinding game, but once I got the thing that I wanted, it
yeah,
was like, damn, I worked hard for it.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it taught me a good life lesson in just working hard will get you those, yield you the fruits
Isn't it
of it.
funny how you can learn things like that from
From
a
a video
video
game.
game?
Yeah. Yeah, from a video game. You know what? It teaches you about like financials as well in a way, which is really, really weird.
Mhm.
Um, I used to flip items, meaning that let's just say I'll buy 5 Bandos chest plates, which is a type of body armor, which is like 15 million each, right?
Mhm.
And I'll buy for a lower price and I'll try to flip it to just get some more money out of it. That's what I used to do. And you kind of like take that on board with sneakers, actually, sneakers. So I
Yeah.
used to be in the sneaker game, actually. I used to flip them as well. I took that risk game mentality, just popped it and applied it to sneakers. And that's
In
how
real
I
life,
make some money. Yeah, in real life. In real
yeah.
life. I actually bought sneakers for retail if they were like a hype one and then just sold it for a higher price because there was that demand for it. I mean, it's always
So you waited for the market.
wait for the drop.
You waited for it.
Yeah, wait for the drop. There is still the market and things can actually go up. I got a
Mhm.
t-shirt that I could sell for like $700 like if I wanted to actually. But yeah, my off-white t-shirt.
No.
I bought that one for well, obviously just retail, and it's going for a lot on StockX for some reason. I'm just like, should I just sell it?
Don't you have Yeezys?
I do have Yeezys too. Oh, not anymore. I just got one pair now. I had
So you sold the others already.
I had 5 before, but now I've just got the only one that I wear.
Yeah, they're expensive, man. They are.
They're all right. They're all right. Like, it depends on the pair. I only have the wave runners now. They're my absolute favorites.
Hmm.
Do you know what those ones are?
No, not familiar.
Okay, I'll wear them next time. Maybe the next podcast.
I'm not too.
Maybe the next podcast will wear
Well, look, mate.
them.
I,
These are pretty nice.
I personally, I'm not really that, I'm not really that huge into the sneaker game. Like I know a couple of the major ones. For example, I know this one here. These are Nike Air Force. I know that there's the ones that I keep on buying after they get destroyed a bit is the Adidas Ultra Boost, and the one that I don't, I think it's
Ultra Boost, yeah.
the Ultra Boost that's been going around for like 6 to 7 years, and they're still selling it in retailers today.
Yeah.
That model, I forgot what it's
1.0.
called. There you go.
Yeah.
That one.
They call it the
No,
Ultra Boost DNA.
no, I got the 2.0. 2.0 DNA. That's the one.
Yeah, yeah. So they call it the DNA now.
I've got the 2.0 DNA.
Hmm.
I've bought that same pair like 3 times. I had uncaged and then I had caged.
Hmm.
And then I went back to uncaged. And I had them. I personally I freaking love them. Very comfortable shoe, although I should probably expand my boundaries, I think. I should probably try to expand my boundaries.
Can I recommend you a pair?
Which one?
These.
Are they New Balances?
They're New Balances, baby. I highly recommend New Balances.
They're coming back.
This, I feel like they never left in a way. These are probably my most comfortable shoes.
Are these running shoes or are they just casual?
They can be. They may as well be because they're so comfortable. My Mrs. Brooke, she got me these for my very first Father's Day. Actually, that was actually a nice day. But yeah, my very first Father's Day, she got me these and a couple of things. Actually, wholesome. I'll get to that one in a bit, the wholesome part. But when I tried on these shoes, I was just like, what the hell, babe? How are these more comfortable than Ultra Boosts?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? And they're so lightweight as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, New Balances, man, they obviously have this like semi-dad look about them. That's what steers some people away, but you know what? I think they look.
You know what they are, New Balances? They're something that your PE teacher from school would wear. Like that's the...
I've become that PE teacher.
You've become the PE teacher. Well, you're a father now, so all of this stuff makes complete sense.
You know what? I wouldn't mind being a PE teacher if I was to do a career switch.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
Why is that?
Because I've always had an interest in PE. It was probably my favorite subject, just all throughout high school. Like, you already know my sporting background, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always had just a massive affinity for PE. Just the whole like logistics of it. I knew about just all the muscles, all the bones and everything. Types of exercise and all that. I did a degree essentially in PhD. I did health science, exactly. So therefore, I wouldn't mind actually being a PE teacher because I would love to just teach it, you know. I feel like I am a good teacher. In my current role right now as a operations supervisor for Amazon, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I've trained so many people. I've trained so many people to step up into a supervisor role. And I loved it, you know. Like I could be a good teacher, but we'll see. See what the future holds.
Well, I guess
Amazon's going well.
Well, I guess those traits that you spoke about, I feel like they're traits that are going to help you in the situation now that you've become a father. And that's actually one of the reasons why you are here today.
Yes.
Is I wanted to talk to you about this. And the first question I want to ask you, first of all, if you had a time machine, right? And you could go back to, let's say, 10 years ago. So like you're about 19 or 20 years old. Right. You go back. You can go and you can see yourself back then. And you're going to explain to yourself back then, hey, this is what's coming for you potentially this time.
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself from that 10-year ago?
Oh, okay. Straight up, what I'll give myself is to swap degrees, 100%, because I could not get into the health science field for the life of me. It was so damn hard, and I think you remember my struggles, hey?
Yeah.
Like, I was actually properly depressed over it. Like, that's when I just sucked it up and said, look, I'm just going to get some. But I've had logistics experience, warehousing. Okay, I'm just going to get into Australia Post. Had a mate, Josh, he recommended me to try Amazon. So I got into Amazon. That went really well. I became a supervisor right away. And here I am. It's going well. I'm looking to become an operations manager. It's great. But that would have been so much easier to get into the ops manager role if I had done a business degree, actually.
Yeah, because
So
they look at that stuff usually. Yeah.
yes. But look, back then, I
Although,
did not know what I wanted to do for my
yeah.
career, for my future, which was like unfortunate. What I probably should have done, one or two things. One, just get a business degree because it's like so broad and like big demand. There's supply, but there's demand as well. Unlike health sciences, like only supply, you know. Um, with in terms of that, I could have either done that, switched to a business degree, or just straight up work instead of going to uni. Because it was a semi waste of time when I did put myself into debt. I thankfully paid off all the debt, but like I could have saved myself so much time and money had I just even worked, you know. And maybe even looking back, like, look, this is future me telling past me about what I already know about the future. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like a cheat code in a way.
It is a cheat code, yeah.
So if it's a cheat code thing that I'm giving
It is definitely a cheat code.
so if it's a cheat code thing I'm giving my past self, it's to work at Amazon when they opened, which was like in
long time ago.
Yeah, it was like maybe 2015, I think, when they started here properly in Australia. It was just Wallbank, or in Sydney at least. And there was a lot of promotions everywhere. I mean, look, they started off small, and that small group, at least most of the small group, they became like managers essentially. Probably just a bit of a cheat code just to get myself into Amazon and actually be in a good position. But that's okay. Like I'm in a pretty decent position right now. Do I regret anything? Sometimes, but I'm here. This is my life now. I have all these responsibilities as well. And I think the main thing to tell my past self is that just keep killing it, you know, just find that sense of responsibility and own it. If you feel unsure about something in your current state, if you feel like you're not going the right path, if you feel it in your gut, don't even question it, just do something about it. Like just move along, try something else. Because I feel like I was stagnant trying to get myself into a health science role, and it didn't get me anywhere, you know. Like I just had to try something new. That's when I sucked it up. I was like, okay, going to Amazon, and I'm finally getting somewhere, you know. So it's just to do that sooner. That would be what I'll be telling my past self. Now, how about dadhood? What do I tell my past self about dadhood, though?
Yeah, that's the second part of the question. I appreciate that you also said that as well.
Yeah, because it
yourself.
does come into line because,
But
like, obviously now I'm into fatherhood. I'm 29 years old. First kid. Her name's Kalani. I love her to death, of course.
Kalani, beautiful name.
Yeah. And thank Brooke for that, my partner.
Yeah.
It was her choice. It really is a beautiful name. What's the question again? I'll just think of my daughter, man. She's just the best.
If you were to look back, if you were to go in a time machine and go back, let's say 10 years in the past, and go to see yourself, in same question, but in relation to to give advice, you know, hey, you're going to be a dad at this time, and these are the current experiences that I've experienced so far, and you've got to prepare for that. What would you tell yourself?
Actually, maybe a big, huge one. Take more control of your life. That's for sure. I needed more control back then. I didn't really have that. And you know what? Even the so-called fun times I had back then,
It is very true what you say about the friends.
I needed to do more. Is what I feel like I should have done.
Well, it's true.
And that will actually take in part
for
in the
yourself,
future
like it's
when you
good
do
that
want to have kids.
It's good that you say this
Yeah.
because you know, I think for myself too, and there's others out there too that are thinking to themselves, you know, when that time comes, am I going to be ready for it? But are you really ever ready for it?
You can be more ready.
You can be more ready.
You could okay. You have to be
ready. Yeah.
You have to be secure with yourself. You got to be, how do you call it? You got to be sure that you have your shit together as well. Like I really need to get my shit together back then. That's for sure. That's for sure. Like I'm sure the boys did have their shit together more than I did, maybe as a whole. That's what probably got me to be a little bit insecure, thinking, okay, well, why don't I have my shit together? I was expecting for something to come to get my shit together, thank you.
Mhm.
So I looked at it wrong. You have to get it done. And if only someone had taught me that, you know, um,
I
I
reckon
just
those.
can't taught myself.
I think those things though. I don't. I think that they can be taught.
They,
I
they, they
also
can be
do
taught.
believe.
I
But
was probably stubborn too. But you're gone.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I have stubborn moments. I have moments where sometimes I just don't want to listen.
Hmm.
And then I look back once I come out of that situation and I just go, why the fuck didn't I listen?
Yeah.
Because I
Me
missed
too.
out on
Me too.
I missed out on something that I could have learned that could have put me in a more forward position.
Yeah.
I think everyone experiences that, man. Naturally, as humans,
And it feels like we wasted so much time in certain
you feel like
times,
you
eh?
waste time. Yeah, you feel
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
are wasting time. But that's.
But look, you know what? It's kind of part of the learning experience as well. Like, it's, of course, I live my life with mostly no regrets. Mostly, of course, some, but we're human.
Mhm.
Um, but, I've had parts where I was even unemployed.
And that's fantastic
Yeah,
that you actually realize that, because I think sometimes what happens to us is that we don't um I think it's normal for majority of people, and this is something that I am trying to learn myself too, is to actually have a conversation with myself in my head, a structured conversation with myself in my head. Because what could have been happening to you, and it has happened to me, and happens sometimes, and it happens to a lot of people, is that you have you have all these thoughts and all these conversations that are happening in your head that are putting all this shit into your head.
hmm,
All right, they're putting all this shit all the time, and then there's that that glimmer of hope, the light that'll say to you, "Hey, you can do something about this. You can be better." But I think what happens is that there's more voices that have more. There's more of them, so they have more of a say, and they get into people's head, and
yeah.
then the person gets stuck
You get
in this.
lost in your head.
You get lost in your
I've been
head,
lost in my head so many times, man.
and it really happens, man.
You can kind of train yourself out of it. Like, look, it's anxiety, actually. That's anxiety when you get lost in your head and you get yourself putting yourself down in a way.
Hmm.
It's kind of like it's a feeling of doubt, kind of. It's a feeling of even restraint, like it restrains you from doing things. It's almost like, in a way, a defense mechanism for nature as well, for you to sense danger, even. But sometimes anxiety can hold you back from doing your daily activities, of course, because you're like, I don't know how I can do this thing, rather than when you are on a good tuned phase. Sometimes I'll have my days when I'm pretty anxious, but when I'm on a good like mood, right, I'll just do things without thinking, and that's fantastic. And when I'm on that anxious day, I had to kind of like fight that anxiety, and it actually takes a bit more time to make some decisions. It actually does impact work a little bit. So that's when I actually step back and actually have I'm allowed like a smoko break, right? Like I don't smoke, but like I just say, yeah, I'm having a smoko, and
Hmm.
I just like sit outside and just chill, eat a biscuit and a coffee or something, and just
Hmm.
realign my thoughts and just be back on work. Just make sure that things are going to be done properly, or else things will
Hmm.
crumble, because it does rely on me. And yeah, you kind of got to train yourself too. You got to know when this anxiety is going to hit you, and you can either kind of fight it and win. You sometimes won't win, but you can also just kind of accept it and just be like, okay, well, damn, I'm anxious. It is what it is, and it will just simmer down. Like, just kind of put yourself into that mentality. Sometimes it's a lot harder for others. I'm probably kind of fortunate that it's not that intense as some other people would have it, because some people would actually have like proper anxiety attacks, panic attacks. I've had a panic attack once where I thought people were out to kill me, man. That was scary, but nah, um, I don't ever experience that anymore, thankfully. Um,
I've heard of those anxiety panic attacks.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever experienced them before,
Hmm.
but from what those people that experience them have said to me,
Hmm.
it definitely sounds like something. It's when you totally lose control of your mind,
Yeah.
just completely, just a whole capitulation of situate of just loss in the mind. You just lose. I don't know, the ability to control everything all at once. It's all like just one emotional thing that happens at once from what they say, and then it's just bam.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, and then I asked them, I'm just like, well, I ask you in this situation, how do you then recover from that situation happening? When
You got to train
when the
yourself.
brain, your brain is actually now overridden in this completely different way and gone against you entirely. And that's your brain. It's no one else's brain.
Yeah.
No one else is controlling your brain. It's your brain
Hmm.
that makes those decisions. And it works against you completely like that.
Like people talk about manifesting things in your head, which
Yeah.
it works. It works in a way. I had to say, like, it sounds like a bunch of hubris, sure, but it does work. Um, just say you have the same type of day, like let's say a super stressful situation at work. A truck comes late and has so many same day packages. Okay, something like that. I don't want to talk too much about work, but like say something at high pressure. Okay, a day where I'll be in a state of anxiety, or I'll not be in a state of anxiety, or I'll be in a good flow state. Okay, flow state, no worries. I already have it planned out in like 5 minutes. This anxiety state, I'll just kind of be like crapping myself. So kind of like just got to manifest and say, well, shit, I really just got to get shit done. I mean, I'm here at work. I got my stuff here. They all got to be doing something. It's all relying on me. So that's what I got to do. So I just kind of got to fight it. It's hard to explain, but like you could have days where you're not anxious at all and you just own everything and everything will just go your way as well. Like things will just go your way perfectly. It's like nothing can stop you. Then there's a bit of anxiety, and then there's always going to be that little bit of doubt. And then you're kind of going to be thinking, maybe having a conversation with someone, thinking, "Oh, what is this person going to think about me?" You could call me and say, well, what's something I'm insecure about? I have insecurities. Everyone has insecurities. They're pretty small hands, okay? Like, fuck it. You'll be like, oh, Enzo, you got fucking tiny hands, mate.
Tiny hands.
But they're pretty small hands for some weird freaking reason. Yeah, I don't know. My dad has big hands.
I think I think you're talking shit.
Yeah, after the handshakes we had, fair
I
enough.
shit.
But like,
Well,
just imagine.
that's a fair point.
But just imagine okay. Just imagine someone is poking fun at my hands. Okay, comparing those two state of minds. When everything's going my way, I will not give a shit, and I'll just be sealing their misses if I was single. Like that's the kind of mindset. I'm serious. I'm serious. Like in this kind of mindset, I could probably do that, but no, I'm a happily settled down man, of course. You know what I mean, right? But
Yeah,
if I
it's
am
hypothetical.
but if
Yes,
I
it's
am in that
hypothetical.
anxious state, I will crumble. So it's like one or the other. And I want to be obviously in more of that anxious state without seeing people's misses because I have respect. I don't want to be a homeowner, but you know what I mean. But you get
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like there's that state where I can feel like I can do anything. And I am fighting to unlock that and I'm getting closer.
Well,
I'm getting closer and closer.
I do know something that can help you with that. Because I was listening to a podcast actually myself.
Of course.
Of course, I was listening to because this is the reason why we love this stuff so much is because you can gain a lot of information from these things, and no one is controlling this stuff. No news networks, no nothing. That is the beauty about this stuff. Anyway, the podcast that I was listening to was the neuroscientist Andrew Huberman Lab.
I was just watching him last night. Look at that.
And were you watching David Goggins?
Yes.
We were talking about the
Bring it in,
same
bro.
thing
Bring it
at the same time. I'm 10 minutes away from finishing it, and I was actually listening to it before you got here, before we
It's a
actually
new one,
started
eh?
this.
It's the brand new one.
It's the brand new one, yeah. So I really loved that episode because it's raw.
Yeah.
very raw, very, very raw. And I saw another side of Huberman too, where obviously he's a very cool, calm, composed male,
Oh yeah.
right? He's very cool, calm, composed. But then you see him start to show a bit of extroversion,
Yeah.
bit extroverted, because David Goggins is very extroverted. But then you see,
Oh,
Huberman full saying a couple swear words, and I'm like,
actually, I think Goggins is more introverted. But like he's
when
passionate
he
about something,
when
yeah,
he
he'll be like,
explains,
like,
he
be
sounds,
hard,
yeah, maybe.
get hard.
Well, okay, from how he
No, say hard.
describes,
To get hard is a bit
yeah,
weird.
yeah, that's
Yeah, it's
that's for
Viagra.
that's a certain situation.
That's
Anyway,
Viagra
oh
right
no,
there.
no, don't so. Just leave it as is.
No,
If it gets hard to sip it up, just let me know. I'll fix it for you. But yeah, it's he.
so good, man.
I definitely have learnt quite a lot from that podcast. I really do love that episode because it's related to this topic that we're talking about now, which is something where we're talking about each other
Mhm.
and then internal issues that we have. And they're talking about those internal issues that they have with themselves.
Yeah.
It's a constant battle against yourself and the outside of yourself or what other people say to put shit into your mind to make you believe that, you are not worthy of this or you cannot do that.
Mm.
And with David Goggins, man, it's just like, I get up. I got no knees. They told me I can't run again. Fuck them.
But you don't care about that.
I don't care about that. I don't give a fuck about that.
No, he actually says you don't care about that. Like, yeah, you could have like broken knees and stuff, but no one cares. That's the point. No one cares.
But it's
only you.
It's a metaphor, though. It's a metaphor because the metaphor is someone says to you, Enzo. Let's say it was something as bad as saying, you know what, Enzo, you've got your daughter, but you can't be a dad. And then you know exactly what you would say back next to that.
Oh, you've stirred the pot.
You've stirred the
yeah,
pot.
you've stirred the pot. I'm going to give
Someone
you the
would
stew.
say that to you. Exactly.
I'll give you the stew, my boy.
And you know what? There is the possibility that someone would say something like that because people.
There is true.
Because everyone, and why Goggins is saying everyone's a hypocrite, and it's true. We are. We can't help it. We can't. The reason why we're hypocrites, especially as a human race at times. Validation. And the other thing as well is gain. But it's more than that. It's actually deeper. It's what he says, David Goggins, in that podcast. We can't have constructed conversations with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
We won't have conversations with ourselves. And rather than having conversations with ourselves to better ourselves and be better, it's easier for us to push out that energy towards onto someone else and say, hey, you can't do that. It's easier. It's so much easier because having a conversation internally with yourself and opening up let's say that who you are as a person, right? And this is what he's been saying about another podcaster.
I think people struggle to see themselves from a third person view.
Yeah, it's freaking hard.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard.
And you know what? That's why a lot of people say you got to stop and stare at the man in the mirror. Think about where you are standing right now in life. How do you feel about it? Do you feel like you're doing the right thing? Are you doing the right things? Are you being honest with yourself? Very important questions to ask. You know what? These are lessons that I want to teach to my kids, to Kalani, I'm planning to have more kids, obviously. I don't want to just have one. And maybe soon. We'll see. But anyway.
A boy.
Yeah. Boy or girl. You know what? I'm going to be like Sylvester Stallone and have all girls. Like, I'll still be happy. Yeah, I'll still be happy, man. Yeah, bro.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I just won't get as much Botox.
Yeah.
As much. I have bags under my eyes, so I'm considering it. No, jokes, I'm not going to get it. Yeah. Speaking of the bags under my eyes, I started using an oil just because, like, I want to minimize. It's actually working.
Are you talking about the bags or like the actual
dark circles?
The dark stuff.
Dark circles, yeah.
Yeah. I want to do more research into trying to figure out what that is. Apparently, that is related to having at nighttime unnatural light in your room. So a TV on, computer screen on, you looking at your phone before you go to sleep.
Part of it, yeah.
Apparently, all of that is intertwined with that.
I think mine was from a history of allergies, sometimes poor sleep as well due to my hectic jobs. Like now, my job, um, well, okay, Kalani makes it a little bit harder, of course, my baby. But now my job, I can sleep better
Mhm.
for sure. Um, I was doing, I do like 12:30 to 10:30, 12:30 in the afternoon to 10:30 at night now. So it's a bit more comfortable than starting at 1 a.m., which I used to. I used to do 1 to 11. That was hard.
1 to 11.
Yeah, 1 a.m. to 11.
1 a.m. to
Yeah, 1
11.
a.m. to 11. I should have said a.m. But yeah, 1 a.m. to 11.
A night
Yeah.
owl.
It
Man,
wasn't great. It wasn't great.
it's like you know what that's like, bro. That's like going out in South America.
Yes, except you're working. Except you're working and yeah, you could be working hard too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
That's
anyways, you know what? These things, these topics that we're talking about is stuff that do want to teach my daughter, my future kids. They're extremely important.
that's fucking beautiful.
You know what? My dad, my parents, they would have taught me these kind of things probably a lot more if they had the time because they did work super hard. They worked so many
They
hours
were,
the
yeah.
week.
Workers, your
Uh,
parents.
I think they kind of lost a little bit of time for their kids. It is what it is. We did our family activities and stuff, but you know what? Just having those heart-to-heart conversations, well, me being a little shit myself, like I was so stubborn and not listening. But also, like, I would try to make the time to teach these kind of things to my kids and make sure they're listening and make sure they actually take it on board for their own lives, which is super important. To make them to make sure they're always improving and becoming a better version of themselves.
Hmm.
Very important as an adult to actually always be. This is a big one, which is something that I taught myself. Be fucking honest with yourself. Like, be your best friend. Like, don't treat yourself like shit. Look at yourself in the mirror and offer the person in the mirror a drink, a beer, anything, your favorite drink. I love whiskey. Here, Enzo, have a whiskey. Respect yourself hugely. Be honest with yourself. And to respect yourself is a good one too. Like, I didn't respect myself before enough where I'll just let people talking shit about me slide so much. Nowadays, yeah, no, try it. Try it, son.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, before I was kind of like in my
Hmm.
in my cocoon. I was still
It's
kind of
hard. I think
yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to.
very important.
It's very hard to stand up, especially in the talking behind back situations, because usually in those situations, you're an individual. They are speaking about you. You're outnumbered. That's the hard part.
Like if you try, that's already one
If
step
you
ahead.
try, that's one step. That's number one.
Trying one step. You know what? You kind of got to train yourself. If you're an introvert, you're kind of
It's harder.
sheltered in. Yeah, it's harder,
Yeah, it's harder.
but you can train yourself.
Hmm.
You can train yourself. Doing something, stepping up is the first step. It's literally the first step. And then starting doing it right. Like, sure, you'll lose the argument, even a literal fight, you'll lose it, but you've already made that first step. Like, you think of it that way, and life will be a lot easier.
Hmm.
Like, you'll be able to tackle on so many more adversities in life. Life is a bitch. And yeah. So something that I taught
Insert
myself,
David
like,
Goggins quote right now.
yeah, pretty much. Literally stay hard. Literally stay hard. Uh, literally stay hard. But yeah, yeah. My beautiful Kalani, I'll be teaching all these lessons, but also I want to be the type of father that's just, like a best friend as well. Like, let's keep it wholesome. Like, I love playing with her. Like, just on the floor. We got a whole bunch of toys for Christmas, man. And, just being on the floor with her, calling her name. She's starting to know her name now. We're like, Kalani, she'll turn around, look at daddy, she'll smile. I'm like, I'm at home. I see that smile and I'm at home. And I will do the world for her. I would do anything in the world for her.
What is the? Are you able to describe the feeling? Well, first, sorry, just
Yeah, yeah.
before I get to this question, because it's a bigger question. Um, you were at the hospital when Brooke was in labor.
Yeah, yeah. I helped to deliver the baby, actually.
Okay, so you were right there.
Yeah, I was right there.
Um, I've heard from multiple different fathers that it's a funny it's a funny situation usually because obviously the woman is in an incredible amount of pain. I would never wish upon anybody,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I've heard from multiple sources that the girl is like she's not only screaming.
Okay,
That's
now,
the pain. Yeah, yeah,
okay, now, firstly, it's from like a whole bunch of, okay, not even like
yeah,
direct research, more like um, indirect absorbing of information from like several TV shows and things that I've read about labor, the level of pain they have, um, the whole process in itself, and obviously, um, females, the ladies, more being more emotional beings, so they'll definitely lash out at you. Understand all that, and it is what it is. Like she is going to lash out at you if you try to peep a word or something.
yeah.
You got to understand that she is experiencing a level of pain that you will never feel.
You're never gonna feel that
Yeah, yeah. Like,
physically.
if I
Yeah,
also go down to the
never.
biology of it, I think it might be like the cervix area that's just getting absolutely destroyed. And even if something touches the cervix,
It's
will
pain.
will will kill like a motherfucker. Apparently, like I will obviously never know
Now
that
we're
feeling.
talking about like squeezing a whole human through that freaking thing.
Fitting a human through that,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah, you can imagine
Bro,
the
your
pain.
your missus is a fucking trooper.
You know what?
All these women
Brooke,
are troopers.
Brooke was
Bro.
so strong. She did a 14-hour labor. Yes, 14-hour labor with no epidural.
No way.
She was only on the gas, which is helped to soothe her, and kind of like these water injections they put on the back. Like it's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, it's kind of like on pressure points they put like water injections. I don't know how it works exactly, but she had those. It helped. But I saw the amount of pain that she was in. I was like, if you were to ever lash out on me, I completely understand it. Like it's fine. Now, in terms of the whole experience itself, like the visuals and everything, well, you're gonna see some stuff. Let's just say, like
And
you can already okay. Like I said with the absorbing of information,
yep.
I've watched a lot of Animal Planet. Okay, okay, it's weird. I know it's fucking weird, but I've seen a lot of like birthing of animals. And I'm just like, oh, this is what it looks like. Okay, it's the same for humans. We're animals too. Okay, I know what to expect. You know,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. So I was like, no actual stranger to it, only just in person. Um, but if you just think of the whole, you know, I was just thinking a bit more emotionally in this moment that it is really a beautiful moment. That a new life is finally coming into the world, and that new life is my offspring, my little baby girl, my Kalani, and that completely trumps over anything that you could perceive as like gross or like unnerving or whatever. Like I didn't even feel grossed out at all. Like it was just I was just making sure my partner was in a more comfortable position, making sure she was feeling like loved and supported by myself and her mother. Yeah, her mother's in there too. And yeah, it was even after 14 hours, she was great. You know, she didn't really lash out at me actually. Come to think of it, she was nice. She was full towards me. We'll see with the second time, but I was expecting more like, oh, fuck you, Enzo, get the fuck out of my
Because
face.
I've seen movies and
Yeah,
like you see that shit and I'm like, is that a real representation of what it's like?
dude, in the on the floor, the maternity ward was it? Birthing ward. I forgot what they called it, right? But there's like phases or waves, sorry, waves of pain that keep coming from what I've been sensing. And whenever the pain comes, she'll be kind of straining, going, ooh, like, but it's not just her. You can actually hear the other women in labor doing the same thing. And it was like, it was kind of like ominous, It was kind of ominous that there were so many women at the same time just in this painful state, just wailing. And I was just like, damn, that's tough. It sound like wolves, actually. No, seriously, like it sounded like wolves just howling. I'm
They're all
like,
experiencing something very
yeah.
identical.
They all said like
They're
the ooh
all,
sound, like the pain that they felt. It's all ooh. But yeah,
nah,
man,
dude, like all these women that our mothers,
we
our
both
mothers,
go, yeah.
everyone we know that has had kids, all of our friends' mothers,
Mm.
our cousins' mothers, everyone,
They
they've
they
all
really do go through
experienced
it.
this.
They really do go through it. And yes, okay, you think of society, and society likes to lift up women. And a lot of the men nowadays are saying, why doesn't society do that for men? I mean, we do it for ourselves, don't we? We can lift ourselves up. We're men, you know? Females, they can do it themselves. Of course, they can empower themselves. They have every power to do so, but they get more power out of cohesion and support from someone, especially a man or even their friends, which is why they get together for, like feminism, I guess, whether, no matter how you see it, it's a way that they can feel, supported, empowered, so you can
They
say.
feel empowered,
Yeah, yeah.
connected.
But like, it's just the support and they just feel like, yeah, it's empowerment, right? But we find empowerment in ourselves, and we just have to remember as men that we can empower ourselves, and we don't need the third party supports because we are men. Like, sure, it's always going to be helpful. We can always help each other out as mates. We're going to always find it within ourselves at the end of the day, because that's just how it is,
Mm-hmm.
And if you accept that, it's understandable why society likes to uplift women, and you know what, roughly so. They do deserve to be uplifted. They really do go through the ringer in terms of motherhood, labor, obviously, pregnancy. We go through the ringer when it comes to like hard work and with history.
Hard work, history.
Yeah,
I think as well, another thing too,
we are the bread makers, of course.
Loneliness. Yeah, guys do a lot of
Yeah.
super, super hard jobs.
Yep.
Like lonely jobs, physically hard jobs.
Yep.
Like I'm not involved in those things specifically, but I've heard people tell me of some of their physical labor jobs. Like some guys, I'm just like, holy shit. Like one of my cousins, he was working in the M4 tunnel.
Oh, cool. Nice.
He was doing that with his dad. When he was explaining it to me, he just said it was just very, very depressing, and he was predominantly surrounded by men.
Yep.
And men do those. Men, I think men like they want to do those jobs because obviously creating the tunnel is like an act of service for the entire city. But they do it for the money, of course, because the money is very good.
Well, the money is very good, of course.
Extremely good.
But also, like, it's easier to get into compared to a professional uni degree, which is why I guess, our parents really push for us to get into like those professional roles.
I think that's why they don't want us going there.
My parents told me to just go to uni, and I'm just like, okay, I'll go to uni. So I went to uni, and that's it. I didn't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture was to go to uni to get a good job and work towards getting that good job, to not really avoid those kind of jobs, because I do respect the people in those jobs, of course. Always respect them. Hard labor. They are literally kind of the backbone of society, blue collar jobs. I work in a blue collar job myself.
Sure.
Actually, hell, you know what? I would love to work in the mining industry.
My cousin from Chile, he lives in Perth. He's in the mining industry.
Yeah, wow.
He works. He was working near Darwin before, and now he's working on this small island, random small islands where they just do mining.
Yeah.
Very beautiful, very, very beautiful. Off the coast of Perth.
Yeah.
Or Western Australia, I should say. Yeah.
Now, if I also get into, it's very hard. It's very hard.
He's been really honest with me about it.
I want to be like more like a manager over there, so it's kind of like a balanced approach. But I can work the chessboard, is what I mean. This is like my skill that I'm pretty strong at. I can work the chessboard, and if I was earning money, which is something that I've been interested in for like a good couple of years now, then that'd be great. But of course, that will require me to go remote, so I'll be away from home. Now I'm just thinking, imagine that, away from home. Kalani will miss me. Brooke will miss me. I got to make my trips back home meaningful, and that's pretty much the goal. But also, every moment that I'm going to have with my kids, they're going to be meaningful. Whether it be fun, learning experiences for them, skills, development, everything's going to be meaningful. That's all.
It's an enormous sacrifice to become a parent, and you're you're in the midst of really understanding what that is actually like.
Hmm.
You how much have you had to now sacrifice in some ways now becoming a dad?
Well, I can put into perspective by just saying one thing. It's pretty damn hard to even get into the gym. When getting to the gym for me back then was super easy because the time was there. I'm just like, okay, I can work out. I can put my body into a better physical state. I can go to the gym. There's no excuse. So I went to the gym. I was actually going pretty damn well. Nowadays, I'm a little bit inconsistent, but I try to like supplement it with doing a workout at home if I'm with Kalani. So now Kalani, she's 7 months old and she's a lot easier. So I can actually do push-ups while she's playing with her talking dog or something. I don't know. But or Minnie Mouse. She loves Minnie Mouse, bro. Yeah, she'll be playing with Minnie Mouse. I would probably just be going to the gym maybe twice a week, but actually being in the gym.
Mhm.
I'll work out 4 times a week, roughly. We'll go to the park and there'll be bars and stuff. I'll be there with Brooke as well, my partner. And, you know, Brooke will be just playing with Kalani there and I'll be on the bars and then just going back to Kalani, getting my drink. I'll be like, hey, baby, you know, it's kind of like mixing the two. But I'm getting my workout in and I'm with my daughter. So, and my partner doing something meaningful, going to the park, having her be curious and looking all around, watching the birds fly and stuff, watching the cars go by. It's all kind of like clicking into her cognition. Her senses are stimulated.
Mhm.
She's happy. And I got to work out too, you know,
Yeah,
like, yeah. So, but whenever I do actually get the time, maybe Kalani's having a nap and Brooke gets to have a nap as well. I'll be like, you know what? I'll take this opportunity. I'm going to go to the gym. I'll be like, babe, go to the gym. I'm taking this opportunity. Kalani's down. She's like, okay, no worries, enjoy. And, yeah, I'll do my workout. But man, kids are a bloody handful, especially when they're this young. Holy cow.
Yeah, this is
The
another thing I
commitment,
want to
man.
get to. She's how many months is she now?
She's 7 months now.
7 months.
Yeah.
So May last year, was it?
Yep, May
May.
21st.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank
May.
you. Actually, if you want to see the cute little head of hers, she's my background, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll just show the stream. That's her there, if you can see.
Allow me to bring it towards the camera. I actually want to make sure that the camera's actually still running.
Oh, I mean, look, it's just like just a quick gander. She's a cutie. Of course, she's my genetics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
Thank
even
you. Thank you.
commenting on her. Yeah,
Your shorts are really short, my friend.
my
1980s, mate.
they push up. I'm not like that, guys. Guys,
No, he's from the 80s.
like
He's in the cast of Stranger Things, this guy.
I'm like Tony Montana from Scarface.
Oof, I want to watch Scarface again.
Yeah.
Maybe tonight.
Really mad movie.
Yeah, you said you had another question about fatherhood. That's a big one.
Jesus. I have to go back.
By the way, I'm pretty hooked on this mate.
You're pretty hooked on the mate.
It's
Don't get your daughter hooked on it. Wait till later.
no, later, of course.
Much
But
so what have you? So I can
is it Billy?
remember my no, Billy's inside.
Oh.
My dog Billy. What have you noticed so far from the effect of the mate?
Oh,
What have you noticed?
it's very calm. It's very calm, but I feel like opened up. And you know what?
Yep.
This is freaking good for podcast. So you can even call the podcast like Yerba Mate Talks or something.
Yerba
And-
Mate talks.
Like, okay, there's certain podcasts where they have like a certain like lead to kind of ease you into the conversation and like kind of break down the walls, break down whatever barriers that's kind of preventing you to opening up the conversation. Yeah, sure, Mate will do that naturally with the effects of it. Like Hot Ones, for example. You've heard of Hot Ones.
That's the guy on YouTube where you're eating some chicken with him and it's really hot.
That's a really good lead.
He's a fantastic interviewer, that guy.
He's really
I've
good.
done a bit of research on him and watching some questions he asked them, and you see the celebrities just like, that is a fantastic question.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, Yeah, it is. Holy shit. Like, how do you know that? Like, where do you pull that from in your mind?
And then he got another interviewer. Have you heard of Nardwar?
No.
You haven't heard of Nardwar? Okay, you got to
No.
look him up, bro. Okay, so he
No.
focuses on music artists,
Yeah.
right? He's a very goofy looking guy. He wears like a lot of like plaid, plaid blazer, plaid pants, even plaid shoes. Actually, the shoes that he wears are TN. That's funny. If you notice, but they're like plaid. So you know, a Scottish kilt.
Yeah,
You know the pattern that it has. Yeah, these are TNs.
Vaguely, yeah. They're like the squares in that, yeah.
Yeah. These are TNs with that pattern. Oh, there you go, bro. These are TNs with that pattern. They look pretty sick. But yeah, he wears a full play thing. He looks goofy, but he's very smart, and he does intense research on the person he's interviewing. Let's just say, for example, he's very famous for his interviews with Lil Uzi Vert. You got to watch those ones. Yeah.
The rapper.
Yeah, the rapper. He's been around for ages. Nardwar. But yeah, with Lil Uzi Vert, he dived deep and knew that Lil Uzi is into a weird guy named Gigi Allen.
Gigi Allen.
Do you know who he is?
No, but I love the name.
Oh, okay.
Love the name Gigi Allen.
Gigi Allen is probably the most
sexy.
delinquent, animalistic music artist you'll probably ever even think of.
Oh, really?
You'll go to his shows, you expect him to strip down naked.
Oh.
And he will literally like throw things at you. People throw things at him, he'll throw it back and you'll sign a waiver when you go to his shows and say you will be hurt, essentially. And he'll throw shit at you. He will be hitting his head with the mic. It's stupid. He'll be hitting his head with the mic, and he would even shit on stage and fling his shit at the crowd.
Wait, shit towards the crowd or just shit on the floor?
He would shit on the floor, pick up his shit, and chuck at the crowd like a monkey. That's Gigi Allen for you. He's passed away. I wonder why. He was totally radical, but Lil Uzi Vert was really into him, and Nardwar actually bought a toy or like a little like sculpture of Gigi Allen to Lil Uzi Vert, and Lil Uzi was like, "Damn man, how did you know? How did you know I was really into Gigi Allen, man?" And what else? He will also kind of like bring up guys from his old gang back when he was a teenager, and Lil Uzi's like, "This guy knows too much.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do this anymore." But can't he do it? And he starts running away. And that's actually their famous shtick that Lil Uzi actually runs away from Nardwar. And they've done multiple interviews where he actually fucking runs away.
He just gets out?
He just runs away. Now they're like solid mates. But Nardwar, he does this deep, intense research into the person he's interviewing. And he'll like surprise him. And the interviewee will be like, "Oh, how the fuck do you know?" Like he's interviewed like Juice WRLD, but he's also interviewed like pretty famous bands, I think. Pharrell Williams as well, he's done.
Mm-hmm.
But like Pharrell Williams in the early 2000s, that's when he did it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look him up, man.
Different version of Pharrell.
Yeah.
Still looks the same as today.
He doesn't change. The freaking vampire.
He doesn't age. He just doesn't age.
He's a vampire.
He doesn't age. He's like an Asian black man.
Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah. I mean, black don't crack, Asian don't crack. Combine the two. Damn, man.
Yeah, he doesn't. He actually doesn't age, that guy. Eh?
Latinos don't age too quickly, but we get there.
Yeah, we get there.
Like we'll eventually turn into sultanas. Like
yeah. We're supposed to get shorter. I think I got a bit fortunate because of my mother. She's of Italian descent. I got very lucky that some people in her family were taller.
Italians can get a little stocky as well.
Well, that usually I've noticed that the taller Italians are mostly up in the north.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then
where the snows
the
are,
shorter ones are usually from the south.
It snows up in the north, right?
Yeah, because they're near Austria and Switzerland.
Yeah. That's where Yannick Sinner's from.
Yeah, for sure. As soon as you said to me that he was Italian, I looked at his name and went, "There's no way."
Yeah, there's no way. But he's of some descent. He's German descent, actually.
For sure, he has to be.
Yeah, he's German descent.
You look at him; he's redhead.
Yeah, he doesn't look Italian at all.
Yeah,
well, then again, like anyone could look.
Even if you are, you're from the north for sure. If you look like that, you're from the north. There's no way you're from the south. You're tanned if you're from the south.
But you hear him speak, it's like Italian. Like,
I heard.
it is just bad.
He's very.
And look, it's like us. Like the idea of what an Aussie looks like. I guess just Caucasian surfer boy looking guys.
Yeah.
Do we look like surfer boys? No. We look like.
What do we look like?
Well, we look like. We seen and yandel. I don't know.
It's like, if we were a stereotype, I don't even know what it is, because overseas they would assume that we were just Latino
Until we speak.
until we start speaking English.
It could be the style of dress as well, but like right now we're dressed like, Aussies, I guess. Like, look, you're dressed good. I'm dressed okay. You're dressed good. Yeah, thank you. Man. Like, you have a watch there. Look at you, man. Fucking tissot, man.
It's a tissot, yeah. I had it for a couple of years.
It's beautiful.
I know, but you know what? I was actually really fortunate. Like, I got it from this one, by the way. This one. Where was it? I got it like almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
10 to 8 years ago. Yeah, I got it from Angus and Coot, and they had a sale on, big sale. And this one was on for almost half price. So it was $800. I picked it up for like 400.
Damn.
Yeah. And I went, yeah, done. I'm getting
I do want to get myself a pretty
done.
I do want to get myself a pretty high, not too high of an echelon, obviously, but a high echelon of a watch. I was looking at Omega.
Omega's a big one.
Yeah.
Omega's the one.
That'll be my next step. So
that's a very tennis fan option of you to take. Omega.
Yeah. Although Rolex is also one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rolex. They sponsor so many of the tournaments actually. Rolex.
Yeah. Well, But watches, they
make a good statement. You know what?
I didn't understand.
I need a new watch.
I didn't understand watches before, but then further looking into them more, I feel like they just completely change. Apart from obviously all the clothes and the shoes that you wear, it actually has it changes your look in a way.
Okay, take off the watch. I'm going to perceive you in a different way if you take off the watch. But I just want to kind of explain to you how it is, but I got to also see it. So take off the watch. I'm not going to steal it. Don't worry. It's a nice watch, but it's okay.
I'm curious to see how this is going to go down.
Yeah. So right now you look pretty sophisticated. You look like you have some taste. You have taste about you. You know, you would actually go out of your way to choose a watch.
I'm free. I'm off the shackles.
Yeah. Now put your arms down again. Like this. Just chill. Yeah, come on. Right now. You just look like a guy. That's what it is.
Precisely the issue with not wearing a watch.
Exactly. Like, you know what? I'm just wearing a bracelet, but right now
it gives this like this intense feeling of like it gives you a sense of like
you have
masculinity, like there is something underneath.
Not just that, but you seem like you have some sophistication behind you.
You're sophisticated, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like no matter the watch, you know, you could see like the biggest Moe Don't Worry in Bagstown wearing a G-Shock, but like, you know what? That's still a watch and it does tell a story. And even though, you can see the story with whatever else he's wearing, like the TNs and the bum bag and everything, sure. But like, I can't see a Moe Don't Worry or a Sineshe without a G-Shock. I feel like they're naked without it. It sounds weird, but like, yeah, you know what I mean?
I have a question.
Yeah. That my TNs.
Do you ever think that's sort of related to that, but it's way more out there? Do you ever feel that you can, because you know how you said about the G-Shock tells the story, like the G-Wagon tells the story, the AMG G-Wagon tells the story. The way how you dress tells the story.
Could be.
The way how you present yourself tells the story.
Yes, actually, how you're dressing right now definitely tells the story because I know that story.
Thank you. But another thing as well, have you ever tried to figure out the story of the person without perceiving them in the physical world? Even though they're physically in front of you. Have you ever tried to look at them from what's actually behind all of that?
Well, picture him naked. I mean, a few times if she's really hot.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm actually not talking about that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing. So
it's like a energetical
to see them
in an energetical way.
Yeah,
it's an energy thing I'm talking about because you're not looking at the physical body now.
Yeah.
Because this is all the physical, right?
Body language, huge one. Body language, eye contact. Body language as well as posture.
You know what I found tells the story with people as well. Another thing is the eyes.
Yeah.
Biggest story, I think. Tells the biggest. I found that with
Okay, I see what
some
you're getting at.
people that I've
Yep.
met. You look at them, you make the eye contact. I mean, if you're male or female, you know, if you meet for the first time, it could be potentially, if you're single, yeah, it's flirtation in a way, but it's also telling you a story. And you're learning more and you're gaining more information. I feel like if you looking all over at other parts of the body, you're not learning anything about them.
Mm.
You're just learning about what's there physically, and you're only going to see it specifically just for that primal thing that I guess us as males have a massive weakness towards.
The eyes are a big one. They definitely
The
do.
eyes really can tell a story. And you can start to learn about, I think, people far quicker. You learn about them more. You start to engage an idea as to who they are. And you could even, if you're willing to take the risk, even make an attempt to say, something about you, it gives me this.
Mm.
And either you were right or you were wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried it. And sometimes
there's always a reason why. There's always a reason. Everything happens for a reason. It's the corny question, but it's true. Yeah. You know, like I could go back and talk about Maury Morris or again. Let's just call him just like
Jesper.
Big blokes from Western Sydney. Okay.
Stereotype.
Big blokes from Western Sydney. There's always that stereotype that they're big burly, trying to like show you up. There's a reason for that, man. Because they come from like a tougher background. Yep. They have to be tough themselves. Like you see them walking down the street like that, trying to look bigger. I mean, look, they could have some history behind them where they've gotten into a lot of fights. They probably could have been victims of domestic violence, usually the case. No fathers could be one of them as well. That's actually a big one. They have to pretty much take the reins as the man of the house with in a single mother household. Definitely a lot in Western Sydney. Like they have to be tough. They have to be tough to survive in their world, and I completely understand why. You know, like sure they come up with a stereotype, we can just laugh and all that, but no, I have huge respect for them.
They're copying it.
Yeah, they definitely
copied it for. Well, I guess that those things, and that's another thing that comes back to the whole parent thing too. Like those situations from the youth, from the beginning of time for the baby to the child to the teenager to the adult. It's super important because you see that person, right? That person's been molded into that person because of what's happened from before. Oh, it's either they got molded into that person or they're being fake. And they truly might not be that person.
There's
and
that
I
too.
think that also, and that is also pretty common. That they want to fit in, right, with a group in the society. Because they feel like they're lonely. They feel like they're lonely.
Yeah.
Feel like they don't belong anywhere. And that causes them to feel their mental state just plummets if they're not like that. So in order to feel like you're a part of something, you got to go out there, and sometimes you hear the people say, fake it till you make it.
It's so true. You know what?
Yeah.
I stand by that slightly. Like, you always got to be true to yourself. Like I'm just going back this life lesson that I'm going to teach Kalani, obviously. You always got to be true to yourself. You always got to be honest with yourself. But in this cruel world, you know, fake it till you make it is viable. It is a viable option. It's not an alternative, though. Definitely don't use it as an alternative, or else you're lying to yourself all the time. You're going to be a liar, and you have to upkeep this kind of like lie to survive, and that's not right. But fake it till you make it. When did I use it for my benefit? Let's say. It's a bit of a narcissistic trait, but when I was in high school, I used to pretend that I wanted to be in a relationship with a girl if I just wanted to be in their pants. You know, that's one way. It's probably the most dirtiest way ever. I haven't done that in a very long time, obviously.
I think that's
it was dirty, but like. Yeah. I wanted that.
I've come across that.
Secondly,
I've seen that before. Yeah.
Secondly, it's obviously far from being that bad. But like, do you know how I Let's see. Actually, I actually kind of forgot. Like, I can get back to that. But like, fake TV maker is very viable. You can even work in jobs. You know, like you can just say, hell, how many times have you seen like lawyers who have not even, don't even have a law degree and they're still lawyers and actually doing fantastic? How the hell did I get in? They faked it. They've been called out, but they were in there for a long time. I've seen a account of a lawyer where I think they were in it for 15 years and they got caught out. I don't know how they did that research, but they got caught out. They were doing 14 years and they had done so many cases. They were actually quite a like profound lawyer at the end of the day. How the hell did he do it? How did he fake it? Well, he just faked it. To get your gain, sometimes you got to fake it. And he ended up being a good job, even though it was temporary. But he got something out of it, right?
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is, sometimes we need to do it because we have a drive.
It's semi-selfish.
It is, I would say
Depends.
it depends.
At least my story was.
Your story
was selfish.
Was selfish, yeah.
Yeah,
That you said was selfish. And also that's actually not the first time that I've heard that.
Not from me.
No,
just in general.
No, not from you. Like I've heard that from so many other people. Like you see people primarily getting into relationships, and it goes both ways, by the way, but between both genders.
Well, you take advantage of what is more desired from whatever gender.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, men take advantage of girls wanting a relationship by using that as kind of like a bait. It's so like bad, but like, yeah, that can be used as like a bait. Oh, vice versa as well.
Yeah, like vice versa.
Girls can take advantage of the fact that guys want sex and use that to their advantage as well.
They can. Because they understand that that's our one of our big weaknesses.
It is a weakness.
It's a humongous weakness that we
can't help it.
We can't. We struggle so much. But I feel like the way how things are also put in front of us in today's society as well also make it harder. Because if you go onto social media and you'll be looking at the feed, or you'll be looking at the shorts, and it's the same with YouTube, it's the same with TikTok. Because it has an algorithm that it only shows you exactly what you seem to be interested in progressively, right? And then you'll be in, let's say you're into funny shit, right? Let's say you're into like someone falling over, like, you know, just stupid shit that makes no sense, and you get a bit of a dopamine hit out of that.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what it's designed to do. You get dopamine hits out of it so that you can keep on scrolling. You keep on going. What's the next thing that I can find that's funny? And then say you're a guy, and then they just chuck this hot as fuck chick just sitting there posing, whatever, or she's dancing. And she can't dance. Usually they can't dance. Usually. They just look good and dance shit, but because they know that they can get away with it, they do that. And you're just like, that was nice. What's her profile? Go there. Oh, she follows more people. It's their profile. And then you're just going through a fucking hole. Like, you're just like going straight through, man. All the way through. And then before you know it, you're like, fuck, it's been an hour. And then you get out of it, and then you go back to where you were before, and then you start scrolling again, and then you just see more and more. And it's just continuous hits of dopamine just being taken away from you, that you're also taking away from yourself as well. And that's what it's doing. It's messing us up. Like, what's going to happen after we finish this episode is I'm going to learn how to do, I don't want to have to do this, but I understand that not everyone is going to listen to 2 hours of a single conversation, because they're only going to do that if they're interested in the people that are sitting there, and if the conversation topics that they're talking about are actually of interest to the individual that's going to be watching it.
Yeah, correct.
In order to get them to come in, you've got to, which is what's going around now, you got to do the shorts. You got to do those short little edited clips, you know what I mean? And have the music in the background, and then have the text on the screen.
Yeah.
That's what we've come to now, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And what happens is that the decision for the person to look at that specific video before they swipe is less than 1 second.
Yeah.
That's our attention span. Human attention span in 2024, bro.
That's true.
It's shocking. It's messing up our attention span.
It's true. The shorts.
I don't like it at all.
The shorts, TikTok, everything. The quick flicking.
That's why I had TikTok only for one reason, and it was just to talk with a girl that I was talking to in the past, a couple of years ago. As soon as that situation ended, I got rid of it. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't want this. But I understand now that in order to gain exposure, the quickest way is through there by making these videos. And
it's true. I
don't want to have to do it, but I understand that I do have to. Because people, as I said, they don't want to listen to a 2-hour conversation. They want to see, you need a trailer. You need a selling point, something to sell. So you go, okay, I'm going to make a short video, 10 to 15 minutes of one little clip of something that was super interesting that we talked about during that conversation. I'm going to put it out there and let's see what happens. And then you link it to the thing. And that's what happens. That's how all these people are getting all this fame, or all these, women that are dressing in that way, that they're gaining all their attention at such rapid and quick rates.
That's right.
Yeah. I just wish there's a part of me that wishes that it was like how it was before. Yeah. Hits hard, eh?
Does.
Yeah. Right.
Definitely does, man.
What do you reckon? You wanna keep on going, or do you wanna?
Any topics that you want to know of? Anything you want?
Well, you know what though? You're actually we didn't touch a little bit on your athletics career.
Yes.
Because you reached to really I didn't even realize that you actually reached to these heights.
How did you know? I was on TV. No, I wasn't on TV.
No,
I wasn't on TV. No, I'm just messing. But anyways.
See, I mean, do you resemble Lamont Marcell Jacobs, or
do I? Well, I got to shave the head first and start to get a tattoo to speak zero English, 100% Italian.
Yeah. You look like you can speak English, but you don't speak any English.
Yeah, and look American.
Yeah, look American. That's from the Bronx.
Oh man, Marcell Jacobs was it was a good one time, but it was just the one time.
Yeah, it's just
like
one time.
He didn't break 10 seconds for a while. Let's just say. But that one time was the time that he needed.
I thought it was insane. Still that
in Italian.
Well, because it's not just in Italian. The Italians also, I don't know if you know this, they actually won the 4x100 meter relay.
Yep.
Only just by that much. It was 1 millisecond, and they just beat Britain.
Yeah.
They just beat Great Britain.
There was no US.
Yeah, there was no US. Mm-hmm. US just wasn't there.
No Jamaica either.
No Jamaica, no US.
It was Italy, Great Britain,
Japan,
and then Japan. Yeah.
And China. I think China was there too.
But they were the three.
Oh, they were the three.
Yeah. They were the ones who placed the medals.
No, Japan didn't get it. They actually retired because they messed up when they got to the second person.
Oh no, you're right. It was Canada. Canada. Yeah, Canada.
What's his name? DeGrasse's team.
DeGrasse.
Yeah, Andre DeGrasse's team.
He got a gold medal for his 200 meters.
Yeah, he got a gold medal 200. Yeah. He did. Yeah,
good on him.
Yeah, I'm happy for him, bro.
He deserves it.
He's been going at it for a while, DeGrasse, and he's finally got what he did.
Do you know of Noah Lyles?
No.
You don't know of Noah Lyles? Okay. So he became track athlete of the year last year in 2023. He is primarily a 200 meter runner, and his best time set the American record. And the American record is no joke.
It's no joke at all.
Because the American record previously was 19.32 or 31
for 200.
For 200. Now it's 19.30 because Noah Lyles beat Michael Johnson. You know him.
I've heard of that name before.
Yeah. Noah Lyles beat Michael Johnson's 200 meter American record. Yes, of course. Usain Bolt beat Johnson's 200 meter world record. But now it was then the American record because obviously Usain Bolt made it 1919 and he's not American. So, yeah, Noah Lyles surpassed Michael Johnson as the fastest American now in 200 meters. Now Noah Lyles is starting to run 100 meters, and he is dominating that pretty well as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he got triple gold for the 100, 200, and 4x100 relay in the World Championships last year. He got triple gold, fam. Yeah.
So he's the one to look out for in the next Olympics, you're saying?
Yeah,
and
well...
I'm going to trust you because when you told me about Sinner and Accolades, look at where they're at now.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Noah Lyles.
Noah Lyles.
Yeah.
Remember that name in the next Olympics, guys. Noah Lyles.
But he's been around for a while, that's the thing. Like, Okay, one that you got to look out for is Arian Knighton, who's like much younger. He's like the Alcaraz of track.
So he's on the way up.
Yeah, so okay. Arian Knighton's records will probably really, really impress you. All right. So he has beaten a world record 5 times, 6 times. Because he's so young, he's broken the 200-meter junior world record 6 times. That was previously held by Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt.
Yeah. Yeah. And he made the time even better, like 5 more times. I think the previous record was 19.61, but now Knighton's best time is 19.47 or something. Really bloody quick. He's now like 18 or 19, so he's obviously grown. He just missed out on a medal at the Olympics at 17 years of age. That would.
I didn't see what in Japan.
Yeah.
But for 200.
Yeah.
So he was in the final against the Grass.
Yeah, he was in the final against the Grass.
I didn't realize he was in the final against the Grass.
So watch it again. 4th place. He's a kid. He's a literal kid. He's 17 years old.
Oh my God. The Grass is going to have to train harder.
Yep. So
in trouble.
The main ones you got to look out for. Well, the Grass is still going strong, but Lyles and Knighton. But Lyles is the dominant one right now.
What about Su Bintang?
Who?
Su Bintang.
He's a little shorty, isn't he?
Was it?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Crazy story from him, eh? What a story.
I haven't really seen much of him lately, eh?
In current day,
yeah.
Did you see his story? The story about Su Bintang in the Olympics?
Yeah. How I think it was in the semi-final. He got that killer time. He broke the it was an Asian record even.
Yeah, he broke the Asian record.
Yeah,
because he was just like, I'm gonna go out there and show everyone that Asians can actually.
I think he might have hit the highest the fastest top speed ever. Might have, even though he had a big decline and he got a really good time in the end. His top speed was probably the best ever.
He's for him as well, like because of his height.
Yeah.
He's usually ahead in the beginning.
Yeah, in the beginning.
For the first like maybe 10 to 20 meters.
Yeah. But it's hard for him to hold that.
It's hard to hold. He just doesn't have
the endurance.
But and that's my question I'll ask you, because you've obviously practiced athletics and you've done it for quite a long time. In the past when you were young.
Wish I never stopped it, to be honest.
But how is it that these athletes, right? Because the thing, especially about 100 meters, it comes down to milliseconds.
Oh yeah.
How is it that these people are training unbelievably hard? How hard do you have to train to get 1 millisecond better when you're at that peak performance? When you're in the Olympics, man.
Very, very hard, man. Very, very hard. To strive for any kind of improvement, you're just going to keep going. There's always going to be like increment tests when you're at training with your coach. Like my coach used to literally film us while we were at training. So he'll film us doing kind of like, you could call it sets, like what is related to gym, like sets of like 50-meter sprints.
Yeah.
And then sets of maybe 100-meter sprints, right? He will look at our form. He'll look at our starts. He'll look at the entire thing. And he'll see which little bits we are getting wrong constantly, which we are doing right, and we stick to it. If not, maybe even do it even a little better. It's just those little minute details we had to rewatch and we had to improve upon. And that's how you kind of like get those little increments better in your time. 100 meters, yeah, you got to get everything perfect because everything is so quick. From your time, your reaction time, get out as soon as freaking possible.
Out.
Secondly, getting out properly, having that 45-degree kind of form. which helps you to like, maybe I'll do it more like that. It helps to kind of propel forward, having your head down, you're increasing your speed at a quicker rate. You're a little bit more aerodynamic, just pushing your head through.
Is this when you're, as soon as the gun goes off and you're going?
Yeah.
So it's before your legs, both your legs are actually on the floor and you're in stride.
You're in your stride. This is
Oh,
the
you're
stride.
already in your
Yeah,
stride.
so
Oh,
this
in
is
the beginning, you see their head down and then they come up.
yeah, the head down and they
Yeah,
slowly
yeah,
come up.
yeah.
And the reason why you come up is because it's how do you call it? Obviously more efficient and natural. But you want to be straight up. Now at about between 20 to 30 meters, that's when you had to start to come up. And here you are at possibly pretty much your fastest. Okay. Now, what is ironic? Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. How much effort do you have to put into a 100-meter sprint to get the best result? Like what percentage?
Because I don't understand any of it, and I'm going off all that I understood from when I did it when I was in athletics at school.
100 meters particularly.
Yeah, 100 meters, I gave it everything. I gave it
100%. 110% even. Okay.
110%. But what I realized once I hit 50 meters, I couldn't give 110%.
So physical effort. Okay, so you gave 110%. Okay, 100% physical effort, right? Which is what's natural in a 100-meter sprint, because you want to sprint as fast as you can. You got to try and move every fiber of your body as fast as you can. It's not efficient. To get 100% out of your 100-meter sprint, your physical effort is more so along the lines of like 97%. It's really strange. But if you're going to pump out your muscles and tire them out so damn quick, your endurance, like yes, there's endurance 100 meters, but your endurance to maintain that top speed will be worse than if you were to focus on your form, focus on your stride. You got to do all those stuff all at once while being at almost 100% physical effort, focusing on your form and making sure you get the most out of your sprint. It is all a mental game in those 10 seconds. And in a way, it'll make you feel like you're running. The 10 seconds feels like a really long time, in a way. Like, yeah, it's just quick, sure, but it feels like a long time.
Is the reason why it feels like a long time because of the fact that it feels like that your brain and body is trying to process so many things all at once, remembering all these things at once within the space of 10 seconds,
Kind of.
competing against people at the same time?
Kind of. Like, if you're always thinking about it, sure, that might hinder you as well. You know, the whole anxiety talk before, like, you want to be in that state of flow too, but never forget that you can't just be going berserk with your sprint form. Yep. That is the problem
That's what I was doing. So I didn't know.
Yeah, that's all right. Look, I've had that problem too. I compared two races. I had my heat and I had my final. There was this one guy who was quicker than me, right? Yeah, there you go. One guy that was quicker than me in the final, and I saw why. It was because of me. I could have beaten him. But I got a better time in the heat compared to the final because I had beautiful form in the heat because I was controlled, kept my form. I was maybe 14 years old. So I hit like a low 12s, right? So I hit like a low 12 there.
You hit a low 12 at 14 years old?
Yeah, and then in the final I hit a mid 12. I'm like, why? I put more effort. Why? What the fuck? Obviously, I was like struggling way more and I was just putting way more effort and I was tiring my body out, you know? 100 meters. There's endurance involved and you got to maintain that endurance. That's why Usain Bolt, well, luckily for him, he's a freak of nature and he has long strides, so he's a lot more like efficient for his own body. But that endurance is, okay, do you remember the 2008 Olympics where he became big and he broke all the world records in that Olympics, right?
London.
That was
no, before London, China.
Beijing. Yeah,
Beijing.
Yeah. He would divide away from the competition. He looks like he's running faster, when in fact it's more so everyone's going slower at a faster rate compared to him. He's maintaining that endurance. He's been at that top speed, or at least maintaining that top speed for a longer amount of time. Wow. So that's what it is. It's not that you're getting faster because you can't get faster.
So maintaining the top speed.
Yeah.
At the. You meant, sorry.
Endurance. Yeah, you just got to maintain the top speed and focus on your endurance and your stride just look like you are just
Well,
gliding,
here's what because that's Usain Bolt's signature trait, the way that
It's
he
everyone's
moves.
signature trait if they are good
Yeah.
sprinters.
But for him,
But for him, it's even better because
who's
he's
another
bigger stride.
example of someone that was relaxed? Okay, Lamont Marcell Jacobs, when he won gold for Italy,
He did the same.
he looks so relaxed
He did
when
the
you
same.
watch him do it.
Exactly.
And you know what's funny? Sinbintang. He looks so good in that in the heats that qualified him for the final.
He's a good example.
And he also apparently he set the quickest 100-meter time in the whole 100 meters.
Oh, of the event. No, that was actually Marcell Jacobs.
Oh, I thought it was Subintang he set the highest. Because I think he set it in the heat before, in the semi.
It was Marcell Jacobs because
He set the highest. It was actually the highest.
it was Marcell Jacobs, but Subing Tan was at 9.83, I think. That's what he hit.
Yeah. In that interview that they did with him, yeah.
And Jacobs did 9.80.
80. Yeah, it's close.
Yeah.
How far off were they? Well, is it what's Usain Bolt's? Is it 9.64 or 6.1?
9.58.
Holy.
Yeah, I know. Just imagine Usain Bolt versus Marcell Jacobs.
This is what I mean, right?
Like, yeah.
If you think, and I'm reacting to this in this way because of the fact that now, because of what you've explained to me, we've got a 980 and we've got a 958. That's 22 milliseconds.
Now, here's the thing, like, Marcell Jacobs, he did everything right to get that 980.
He 110%
Yeah, he did everything.
He did nothing.
Exactly. Perfect race.
It's not, is it like, did he give it everything that he had? Or did he just I think he did everything right.
He did everything right. Exactly.
He didn't give everything. I'm understanding what you're meaning by this.
Going back to Usain Bolt, he is a big example of fucking it up as well when he's actually losing. I'm serious. When he is about to lose, he buckles and starts to put in that extra effort. He loses his mind sometimes. Because I think he was kind of like not used to that.
Is this in the later, like in Brazil? Like Rio?
Maybe a little bit later.
How did he go in Rio, actually? I don't even remember his performances.
No, he won.
He got gold and everything again?
Yeah. He did. But it was closer.
It was close.
It was much closer.
Yeah, so he was starting
But when he was losing,
he was starting to like get a bit wobbly on the surfboard when he was riding the wave. You could say.
Yeah, he would he will give that 100% physical effort if he was losing, and then that's when he will fail. Like, we know obviously how good his sprint endurance is because we've seen it. But when he buckles like that, he loses that. He's already tired out. Like, his body just declines that quick.
So if you were to, it's hard to summarize.
Look up any race where Usain Bolt loses. Actually, look at him. He usually has his arms out nice, and he'll have his stride.
Which
and they're like nice and out.
Well, that's what we're all accustomed to looking at.
Yes. Now, when he is losing, he's a bit more buckled, and he puts more effort. You can see his teeth is gritting. It's like going like that. It's like going. Oh.
Yeah, you don't see that from him.
Yeah, exactly. When he's winning,
not in the Olympics.
When he's winning, you don't see that from him.
So all of the emotion and all of the feelings and the hormones, it all changes. He can start out as the Olympic gold medalist.
Yep.
And then within 2 seconds, he can be Su Bintang in the final.
Pretty much.
And that all happens in 10 seconons.
Yep. You know what?
That is phenomenal.
I had somebody at work come up to me and say, not really in a negative sense. He was just kind of like wondering. He was like, kind of wondering why all these athletes, they are training so damn hard where they are putting their body on the line just for 10 seconds. And I told him, this is how I see it. In those 10 seconds, if you're the winner at the Olympics, you're the fastest man in the world. And that is all the glory. That is some of the biggest glory you can have, like, in sporting in general, period. I mean, you're the fastest man in the world. Everyone knows how to, like, most people know how to run, okay? Like, well, okay, essentially everyone that is on their legs, of course, like, they can run. People have running races. As kids, everyone's had a running race. You know, who's the winner? Yeah, they win the ice cream. You know, you're the fastest man in the world. You're the fastest of the 7 billion people in the world that know how to run. Like, it's a big deal. And it can only be proven in those 10 seconds, really.
But what makes it even better is when you not only beat the 7 billion other people that live in the world, but you also then beat all the billions that have existed before by history.
Well, if you get the world record, of course.
You get the world record.
Exactly.
Do you think in your lifetime that you're going to come across someone that is going to beat 9.58?
I've wondered that for a while, man, because look, that record was set in 2009. And the closest we've ever got to that...
he didn't do it at the Olympic City, yeah.
He got it done at the Berlin World Championships in 2009.
Is that IAAF Championships?
Yeah, that's the organization. Excuse me. The second best time was 9.69 by two athletes, actually. Johan Blake.
Yeah, Johan Blake. That's thinking.
And Tyson Gay.
Tyson Gay.
Yeah, Tyson Gay. Yeah. Man, they were fierce competition for Bolt, actually. You know what? The Bolt era was like just the best era because it wasn't just Bolt. Like, yeah, sure, Bolt was the best.
Yeah.
But like, Tyson Gay and Johan Blake, they were freaking good too. They were phenomenal.
Yeah, they were amazing.
They were phenomenal, man. They were the second and third best in history. I think Johan Blake did cement himself as the second best in history.
Ever.
And ever. And Tyson Gay, third, but not far behind on Blake. Johan Blake also has had the second best 200 meter time in history, 19.26. So apparently he had a bad start in that race as well. He could have actually broken Usain Bolt's 200 meter record of 19.19. Imagine. Like, these two. Okay, like if Johan Blake did break that, I think he'll get the equal amount of like recognition as Bolt. But I think Bolt also gets recognition because he's a personality too. You know, like you see him winning and he's like showboating and just like, yeah, bro, he's a personality. He's a celebrity. You can tell.
Like I feel like even when you're at that peak, I feel like sometimes you need to be a personality.
Oh, it's
especially for that type of sport. It just makes sense
to just take advantage of just literally taking advantage of the fame. Yeah, of course.
It.
Yeah,
live it. Feel that moment.
Yeah. But also, like, how do I explain this? Okay, I'm not gonna lie, Marcell Jacobs, not that memorable anymore.
No, for me it is.
Yeah, for you, I understand why.
The Italian.
Yeah, I understand why. But like.
But no one else remembers.
What did he do outside of the track?
What has he done? Yeah, what has he done outside the track?
Outside the track. What did he do after? Does he show himself in a way? Hell, you know what? Even if he spoke English, like it sounds bad, but even if he spoke some English, could have actually helped him out.
Yeah.
I mean, Bolt's lucky because English is his first language.
Well, he'd be able to communicate with the whole world.
Yeah, exactly.
And Italian spoken in one country.
Look, that's how it is. Like, it's unfortunate that, yes, English has dominated the world, but, like, to take advantage of your fame, your accolades, English will definitely propel you.
English is really going to propel you to go far.
Hell, actually, in Peru, bro, like, the amount of, like, English, like, classes I've seen on the ads and stuff, feel like, you want to make it into the world.
Yeah.
Take English with me. I'm Pedro. Pedro Morales will show you.
Pedro Galese.
Yeah.
Pedro Galese.
Yeah. Oh God.
So before we wrap this up, I just want you to tell me what are your accolades?
Oh yeah. So I think my number one was actually coming first in the state championships in the 400 meters. That was actually a really, really big one for me.
So you represented New South Wales.
I did represent New South Wales at the national championships. I came fourth in the
Oh.
national championships. I actually did make the final, thankfully. Like that was actually so close to actually. I remember in the heats, I came fourth, which was like just edging out of making the finals.
Mhm.
I forgot what my time was, but it was not good enough to actually be automatically into the finals. Thankfully, just by seeing all the times, I got they call it like the lower queue. So higher queue is like you're obviously going through right away. I got the lower queue, meaning that, okay, it's situational. I got had the best time compared to the others. That's how I'm going to make it in. Thankfully, I was one of two with the better times. So I was probably like the 7th or 8th best time of the total heat because there was 8 of us to actually make it into the final. So I was like, okay, I'm glad I made it. I'm glad I made it into the final. Okay, damn. Okay, now I just got to do the final. Just see what I can do. I was so like in a surreal state of mind, thinking, I never thought I'll ever make it this far in athletics, and here I am in the nationals in the finals. Let's just do it. You know, like I just did it, and I came fourth, which was actually a lot better than my heat time. What was my time? It was it's like a 50 flat, I think. It was like a 50 flat, and I was in under 16s. So it was a 50 flat under 16s. Came fourth.
What's 50 flat? What's 10, 50?
400 meters.
Oh, 400 meters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 50 seconds.
Yeah. Wow.
So
50 flat.
I would have liked to have come third at least. You know,
you completed 400 meters in less than a minute.
Yeah. I mean, less than a minute's easy. I'm talking myself like less than a minute.
Not for the normal person. Like I was.
Okay. You got to try, but 400 meters is. I hate it at the same time.
Yeah.
I love it and hate it because I love it because I was good at it. I hate it for two reasons. One, because it takes the freaking shit out of you, and secondly, because I was good at it. I hated it because I was good at it as well. Because like, I had to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I just had to do it as an athlete because I was good at it. I know it sounds weird, but like, if I wanted to take advantage of like winning competitions, I'd do the 400 meters and just do it.
I think I understand why you were good at it. That you know how we mentioned about that Huberman podcast episode that we're listening to, and you know how Huberman was talking about that that part of the brain, the something cortex. I forgot the name.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, but you remember that?
Yeah. Oh well, I haven't watched the whole thing yet. So
you haven't? Okay.
Yeah, I gotta sit and watch it.
He's gonna talk about it in the episode about this specific part of the brain called the something cortex. It's like four words in a name. And that allows you, and that's like when, and that's why he was like, you know, he's like, that's like he's like, that's just the David Goggins of the brain. Like explaining it like that.
Oh, when I heard that, I was like, I knew what to expect.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's the David Goggins of the brain because David Goggins, right, doesn't want to do these things. It's like, you don't want to do something that's hard, but you do it because you know that you have to. So you're not necessarily you're not doing it out of reward, you're not doing it because you're doing it because you understand that you have to. But the thing is that you hate it. And you hated it.
You know what?
That's why you were good at it.
I hated it. That part of your
brain was telling you, I hate this thing, but I have to do it. And because of the hatred, you got better.
Okay. Here's the thing. I was firstly a 100 and 200 meter sprinter, right? Like that's what I pretty much dove into when I got into athletics was I was already a good sprinter. And okay, here's how I started athletics. So I played soccer up until under 14s. And in high school, in year 7, I was in under 13s for the athletics age group, right? I did come first at the school carnival, which was like nice. Like I was like, okay, I'm the fastest in the age group. That's cool. I made the zone carnival, and I almost freaking made it to state. And I was like, I could get behind this. Maybe if I could do some training, I could probably get into the state championships next year. That's just what I wanted to do, the 100 meters. So I took on athletics that year, which the athletics season starts at the end of the year. Got like some training. It wasn't that intense training. I just did it like once a week, but it was just to specialize in the sprinting, right? And I also had some competition within the club. We had like club comps. There was like club records as well. Um, Going into year 8, that's when I first became H champion at the school carnival, meaning that I've accumulated the most points at the athletics carnival and I win the trophy. That was cool. I did zone. I made it to zone in the 200 meters. Actually, it was just the 200 meters. Um, wait, into zone. No, wait, hang on. I made it into zone with the 100 and 200 meters, and I made it to state in the 200 meters. So that was just from my first year of athletics experience, and did state. That was tough, but you know what? It was just my first year, so that's okay. I was just getting better and better. Then coming into my second year of athletics by the way, I started athletics at Green Valley. So second year of athletics was at Green Valley. Again, I just got like really basic training and I got a very similar result the next year. So that was year 9, right? So going into year 10, I was just thinking, okay, I'm going to change clubs because there's no one here who's serious about training up athletes. Like seriously, like I was just there to do the competitions and they were just like, hey, just run fast or whatever. So I went to Smithfield Athletics and that's where I met my coach who's actually from the United States. And shout out to him. His name's Greg. Hope he's doing well. He taught me so much. Like he could have probably trained Olympians, and I think he does nowadays. He's doing really well because I do follow him on Instagram. I think he does train like actual Olympians.
Oh,
Yeah, he taught me everything I need to know. He got me to try the 400 because he saw that I was really good in the 200, probably even a little bit better than the 100. So I was like, try the 400. I did the 400 in competition at the school carnival. I made it state in that year in year 10. And I was like, okay, I didn't get too much training of the 400 meters in this year. I'm going to probably train for it. But God, I hate this event. I just gave it my all. You give it your full effort. It's a very, very tricky race to run because you are so fatigued with lactic acid that you feel like you are 200 kilograms when you're running. It is tough, very tough. Start of year 11, that was like probably my peak.
shit.
And that's when I actually started to make the national
That's an
championships.
interesting quote that you say
Yeah.
about the 200 kilograms, 400 meters.
Yeah. 400 meters, that's why I hated it because you do feel like 200 kilograms.
You said that with the 100 meters, you put in, you were saying, I think it was about 97%.
Yes, because the 3%, you kind of had to keep that in reserve. It's really hard to explain, but sorry, mate.
Yeah.
The physical effort, yeah, you can't be giving it that full 100%, or else you're going to lose your mind. You're going to lose your form. Then you'll lose endurance.
What's the percent you reckon?
At 400 meters, I was taught to do the 400 meters in phases.
It makes sense.
It's
Whoops.
kind of. So you got the start in the first bend, and then you got like
Yeah, the bend, yeah.
the straight and first part of the bend, then you got the second part of the bend, just giving you your all. You have to be as efficient as dearly possible. The same with 200 as well, but as efficient as dearly possible in the 400 meters, and make sure you're maintaining your form to keep that speed that you had at your start. So you just want to be more so gliding at a fast speed, more like a 90%, and try to dearly maintain that 90%. And if you are at competition with someone, then maintain your form, but also race them, of course, because like 400 meters, it's tough.
Mhm.
Like it's really a bigger mental game than the 100 meters for sure. 100 meters, you're focusing on form. I think 400 meters takes pretty much the core numerical training to actually get your result, but also, maintaining the form at 97%. 400 meters, it's also in that moment as well. That will give you a result. Like it's more so in that moment, also your training, but in that moment, you got to lock it in. It's like, you learn a lot about yourself as well in the 400 meters.
In the midst of doing the run or whilst you're training for the
Both.
Both.
But especially in the run as well, in the actual race, especially in a big stakes race, maybe in the final.
Yep.
It is a test of your mentality, and you just cannot give up. Like, it tests your limits of whether you'll give up or not. And that test hurts every single fucking time.
Yeah.
That's why I hated it. But also loved it because I was actually good at it. And when I actually, I'm asthmatic, by the way. Like, I would,
Yeah, I think I've seen you with your
yeah, when I
before.
I would get an asthma attack maybe, a mild asthma attack maybe half the time after a 400 meter. But I just could not give up, you know. I just could not give up. And at the end of the race, I'll come first. Probably even break a record. I've broken a few records at like regional meets. Unfortunately, not at state meets. State meets are pretty hard to break the records at. But at regional meets, I did break records. 400
That's
meters,
the
particularly.
third level.
Regional second, state's third.
Oh,
Yeah,
second. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, wait. Second after zone. So zone, regional, then state. So regional is, in terms of little athletics, regional is actually second. Yeah, so zone, regional, state. Regional, I'll break the records there. And that was like, and that was actually like really, like, glorious. Sorry, I should wait for you, man. It's all good.
Sorry.
It's just a couple seconds.
You're going.
Yeah, it's cool. So, yeah, it's just a glorious moment after actually winning a 400-meter race, giving everything you got, and then I'm dead for the day. Because, like, it's that draining. Like, I'm literally dead for the day.
Just from
a single 400-meter race.
From the single, yeah. It's. I think even when I did it as well, obviously I wasn't training to do it like how you were, but I do remember that. I know for me, like my strong suit was actually cross country, so I could do long races for a long period of time. Although it's like you don't have to give 110%. You give it to a certain percentage and you try and hold it, but you're not sprinting. You're not like running as quickly as you can. When I did 400 meters, I do recall 100 was hard, wasn't good at it. 200 not so good. 400 is a bit better, but I remember when I finished it, it was like it was like that. It's just like you're
You know
done.
why? Because 400 meters
You are
is a
finished.
sprint event.
It's a sprint. That's what I mean.
But you can't sprint 400 meters all the way, can you? Realistically, no.
You would think
but you
so,
have,
yeah.
But you have to try. In a way, it's that kind of race.
Yeah.
So you're pushing the limits of the human body in a way.
Yeah, you're giving it your absolute.
That's why you feel all that lactic acid. That's why you feel like you're 200 kilograms. It just weighs you down. That's why I hated it, but loved it at the same time.
That's actually a wonderful analogy.
Yeah.
To say about it, because like you've dug into a memory of mine that I would never think about again because it doesn't have any really much significance on my life. But now you've brought me back to that feeling because I gave it my all. Yeah. I didn't give up, but I gave it my all. But I didn't understand about, breaking into sections and all that type of stuff. I just went 110%.
A lot of technical stuff going with it, and thankfully with my then coach,
after I got around the bend.
Yeah.
Once I got around that bend, bro, I remember got around the bend. I got to halfway through that straight before the last straight, and then I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Shit. And then it's like, I've got another 200 meters of this?
Yeah.
What? And then I go all the way, and I would have come like second last. It was so hard.
Like going back to school, like even though it was just school comps, it wasn't like fierce competition or anything. I had some competitors at school as well. There's certain names. I'll get to them in a second.
VTech.
You know what's funny? VTech actually did make his own carnival.
He actually did.
Yeah, he did. I think it was the.
Surely not in athletics. Surely in field. Surely in field. Not in. I would never expect in track. That would blow my mind if he made it.
It was track. Yeah, it was track. It was track. No, I'm serious. It was track. So, what was it? Yeah. So the guy, I think it was in year 9. The guy who came first in the 800 meters, he didn't show up to the zone carnival. VTAG actually did make it for discus.
Yeah, discus. Yeah, for sure. It makes sense.
He made it for discus. He came first in discus, and he did that. But I came second in the 800 meters because, like, wasn't really specialized in 800 meters. This guy was a long distance runner anyway.
Mhm.
So I just let him win. Not really let him win, but like, yeah. I was like,
There
whatever.
was no point going to that.
I did the
Yeah.
800 meters for points.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I came second, and second was all right. It's for the school carnival anyway. But at the zone, I came second. They asked me to do it. I said, no, I'm going to be too tired for my main events. I want to make it for my events.
Mhm.
So like, okay, who came third? Anthony Vitagliani. Crazy. And he did it. And
That's insane.
I don't know how he did, because I think I was preparing for my race, because I think my 200 meters was after the 800.
Mhm.
But yeah, he did it. Respect for him for that.
Wow.
Yeah, he did 800 at zone because he came third at the school carnival.
That's you know what? This is history I was never aware of. I'm so glad to learn this history. And when I see him next, I'm gonna ask him about that. 200 meters?
No, 800. He did
800
800.
meters.
Yeah,
He came third, you were saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
he came third at the school carnival. At zone, I'm not too sure.
Well, look, Enzo,
But what I do want to mention, I know that where it's coming
yeah,
towards the end. Yeah, it's quite a long. We've gone pretty well.
yeah,
Hey, Billy boy.
40 minutes, man.
I did like the fact that I got age champion pretty much every year, like from year 8 to year 12. That was nice because at school I was considered the fast guy. It was nice to know. I like to give a shout out to my fierce competitors. They were George Yusuf and Stephen Skipoletti. So George Yusuf was in the grade above, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I was competing against him mostly because we were the same age group.
He was in your age group, yeah.
Yeah, 1994. Yeah. Yeah, he was quick. It was a good competition. So he definitely kept me on my toes at the school carnivals. It was just him until year 12. So he will graduate, obviously, when I was in year 11. And I go into year 12. And the open age group, which is 17 plus, well, the thing is, you kind of mix with the age group below. Actually, when I was in year 11, I was in the 17 age group. And I was mixing with the age group above. And I still won those carnivals because I was like a peak performance there. So like, yeah. But in year 12, the thing is, I actually stopped athletics before year 12 because I wanted to focus on HSC, which was a small regret, to be honest.
Mhm.
Like, I wish I did continue athletics, to be honest. But there was this guy in my grade who was in the grade year group below who was stupid quick all of a sudden. His name was Steven. Shout out to Steven. He beat me in the 100 and 200.
Wow. Stephen
At the Skipoletti, yeah. He beat me in the 100, 200 at school carnival. And I was shocked. I was like, you're a gun. Like, you're a gun. You're actually running proper athlete times. And I don't think he did athletics. He had spikes, but he did soccer. And I think he ran a pretty decent form from memory. But he was a gun. And I just thought, okay, I'm still going to make the zone carnival, but I'm going to have to train again by myself. So I started doing that. And I actually made state other than zone carnival. So that was a good kick in the ass for me because I did let go of athletics and I was like, shit, this is what letting go of athletics does.
Yeah.
Someone's going to keep going and they will beat you. And Steven did that to me. You know what? I reckon Steven deserved that age champion trophy in year 12. I should have gotten the silver medal. He deserves it. He deserves it. If I ever see him, I'll say, brother, you deserve it. You smashed me in the school carnival. You deserve it. I got it just because I did more events. I got points.
Yeah, because of the points.
You beat me at my main events.
Beat him. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, he beat you where it mattered most.
Yeah.
That's
But
cool,
then I came first in his own carnival. So,
but
so I made up for it.
But it is wonderful that you're able to recognize the brilliance of another.
Yeah.
And also congratulate them for what they've done, because that's very good sportsmanship. And it's good that you do think that way, because that's going to carry into your daughter.
Your life lesson.
You're gonna show her that. I'm really glad that you're gonna show her that, like, she's gonna grow up with you. She's gonna grow up with the family, that you're making. And you're saying as well, you want to have more kids as well. But I really am so happy for you.
Thank you.
And I'm also really glad too that I feel like I got to learn. Like, I know you, but I feel like I got to learn more about you today. I learned more about you than what I actually had the opportunity to before.
What'd you learn?
Athletics, I know about things that have happened with you internally. I learned about certain aspects of what it's like to experience childbirth, what it's like
Well,
to
not
have
me,
a
my
child.
missus, but yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry, you're not the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jr. You're not
Holy
that.
shit.
You're not that. It's a movie where
I know.
Schwarzenegger's the
Yeah.
It's not that,
Yeah, I'm saying it.
but yeah, you're not. Yeah, but you've it's I've learned I can't think of all the things because I've almost hit 3 hours of this episode. But when I look back, I'm gonna see it all, and I'm gonna look back on this episode, and I'm just gonna be like, what a wonderful first episode to have, even though it was long as hell, and it's gonna be really hard to edit this episode because of how long it is.
But you know what? That actually just entails how good we are as mates as well, that we can actually legitimately talk for hours, podcast or not. Like, you definitely can. I'm glad got this opportunity with you, man.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
And I'm happy for you. You know, I'm happy for you for this new journey. And I do look forward to seeing your other podcasts in the future too.
Yeah, I know.
We'll see.
Not only that too.
Have a lot of fun, man.
I would love to have you back. And I think there's probably different topics we'll talk about them. I know one thing for sure, you are heavily invested into gaming. Like a lot of guys our age or guys even younger than us, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as we discussed, I have been a fierce competitor in terms of like sports.
Yeah.
I'm no different with gaming.
Yeah.
Like even nowadays when I play Call of Duty just off and on, like okay, there's something called skill-based matchmaking. Okay. And my mates fucking hate my lobbies that I bring them into. Like they're more casual than I am. Like, oh, I play a lot more casual than I used to now.
Yeah.
But when I play, I give it my all. Like I am so aware. I make the big call outs. Like I am like freaking the Peruvian coach Gareca, like just making sure, you go here, you go here. We can't die. If you stay here, you're gonna die. Don't drop in the loadout. Like
you're picking
extremely tactical.
You're picking where I need to put my chest on the chessboard.
And the way I play is extremely sweaty. That's what they call it. I'm extremely sweaty, and they hate what that brings upon because I get matched with players on my level, and if my mates was starting to like they join my lobby, they get matched up with their sweats as well, and they're like, Enzo, I fucking hate you.
Enzo new area.
Enzo new area.
Well, man.
Anyways, man.
I've got to wrap it up, but yeah, as I said before, thank you so much for coming on. It's I really appreciate the love, the support, and the fact that you are actually the first person that I asked to come on, and you had no hesitation in coming on. I really, really respect that, and I really, really love that. So thank you so much for this, and thank you so much to everyone else for listening on this. And there's going to be more episodes coming out soon. Hopefully in the future. I just need to learn how to get all this stuff done. But welcome to the Let's Talk Loco podcast. And I hope to see all of you and yourself in the future. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mikey.